Collingwood by 11 points, and here at the Adelaide Oval we've got a double header for Saturday night footy on ABC Sports. So Geelong and Essendon over the border, but here we've got Adelaide and GWS. The search for a spark under the Saturday night spotlight between these two clubs who are looking to bounce back from a frustrating month. Adelaide's had 14 days to decipher the future of its club. They were demolished by Sydney and have decided to opt for experience in the return of stars Taylor Walker and Riley O'Brien. Their hand has been forced, however. 21-year-old Zach Taylor handed their debut after a back injury to Chase Jones in the captain's run, so he'll be the sub tonight, and also the Crows' third debutant of the year. GWS have some returning big names of their own as well, so Stephen Cornelio, Isaac Cumming and Harry Perryman back from injury as they look to kickstart a push towards the top four. Aaron Bryan's calling the action for you on ABC Sport, on ABC Radio, ABC News Radio, Sport Digital and the ABC Listen app this evening. And alongside me tonight is Neil Cross. Good evening, Crossy.
Aaron, another interesting game. We've seen plenty here at the Adelaide Oval this year, but I tell you, in terms of the future, Adelaide just needs a win to give themselves some confidence, to give the fans some confidence that they're heading in the right path. We've had a tumultuous 2 weeks here in Adelaide, of course. For those listening outside of South Australia, the focus firmly for a week on the Crows, and then the second week after Port Adelaide getting beaten last weekend was firmly on Port Adelaide. So tonight, Matthew Nicks, I don't think from everything that's emanating from the club there's any problems or anything with his direction and where he's taking the players, but definitely the fans want to see some performance on the ground, and it's been lacking this season. GWS, well, what are they going to produce? I mean, they are capable of anything.
Mixed bag of form throughout the year, but their hot start essentially has got them in the position that they're in, and they're unlucky that Fremantle did get the job done earlier today, because a win tonight would have put them in the 4. They're probably just going to be just out of that if they do get there. Yeah,
much the same as so many clubs in that mix for the 8, aren't they? There's really been this form of up and down and up and down. Even the likes of Collingwood losing tonight to the Gold Coast.
Yeah, the chasing pack just continues to get larger, and the Swans up top are pretty comfortable, albeit losing earlier today to the Dockers by a point. A couple of big name experts in the box tonight on ABC Sport. Premiership players for the Crows and the Power. Firstly, it's great to see Rod Jamison. Jamo, good evening.
Aaron, Crossy, good evening. Yes, when isn't it a big game for Adelaide at the moment too? They've lost the last 3, and too often the last time that both the teams that are playing tonight, their last games against Sydney, have beaten them up and done a number on them. And Adelaide was so good for 2.5 quarters, and then Sydney just took the game away.
What are you hoping to see tonight?
I'm not really sure, to tell you the truth.
Considering that the finals aren't on the line for the Adelaide Crows, and they've got a long year still to go, what are the major takeaways you want from this performance?
Well, I think it's always, my view at the start of the year coming in here was always how Adelaide were going to integrate new talent, albeit been at the club for a little while, when Taylor Walker's not there, when Rory Sloane's not there, Brodie Smith's been out for part of it, and Rory Laird's coming to the end. What is coming through to fill those roles, and how are they going to integrate them in, as opposed to waiting for the experience that they're brought in again tonight? So I think that's okay, and I think the balance of that is you can't give someone a game just because we're short on numbers. They have to earn that spot. And Zach Taylor's done that, albeit through Chase Jones not coming up after the captain's run, but he wasn't far away. And I was down at Glenelg today, and Adelaide did a really good job on Glenelg, who was sitting on top of the ladder prior to that particular round too. So I think they had 17 players of their list that were actually playing today as relying upon top-up players. So they've just got to finish off the game well. They're 4 wins. There's 9 games remaining. They're 4 games out of the top 8. So, it's not going to work for them, but you just want them to dig in and play and be competitive and win as many games as you possibly can. They're turning the corner now. They've got to take on some top 8 sides for the run home, and they're playing against teams that they've already played against.
The Crows making their way out onto the Adelaide Oval, a record of 4-9-1, and as we touched on in the intro, they lost to Sydney by 42 points 14 days ago, which essentially sent them into their bye and a chance to reflect on where they currently sit with finals essentially out of the equation. They need a miracle to come back from here. Alongside Rod Jamison, Port Premiership ruck Dean Brogan's in the box once again. Good to see you, bro.
Evening, gentlemen. Look, Adelaide, lots to play for. Lots to play for. They need to finish off the back part of this year They've got 9 games to go. They've probably set themselves a target, let's win 6 of them, or let's, at least be 50-50 by the end of the season, I would have thought. And you can tell by selection, they're still going with their best 22 available. And like you said, Jamo, they're not just going to give games away. They might, if there's a month to go, they might start to bring a couple in. But right now, you play your best 22, and they need a scalp. They would love to get some scalps in the back half of this season. And one big scalp is the mighty Giants that they're playing tonight, is right in front of them, because the Giants have come here with the best 22 that they can pick, and Giants need to get going. If they want to get to where they got to last year, they need to come here and win games like they should tonight. So lots to play for Adelaide. I reckon the back half of this year, I think you're going to see the best of Adelaide. The pressure's off now, isn't it? The pressure's off. The team down the road's got all the pressure on them at the moment, so a lot of that negativity's gone down to Alberton, so they can actually play a bit more freely. I'm sure the mid-season review last week, they found a lot of positives that they would have sold to the playing group, that they want to concentrate on the back half of this year, and I expect to see a different Adelaide side at the back half of this season starting tonight.
What are you expecting from your old club, Brogues? The fact that the Giants, as we've touched on, are a bit inconsistent across this campaign, and you're right, they've got their best available lineup out there tonight. Some really heavy hitters coming back into that midfield mix, and there's no reason why they couldn't find themselves on the cusp of the top 4 by the end of this round.
Well, if you look at the competition, like Sydney lost today by a point to Fremantle, but other than Sydney, every team is having their moments of vulnerability, and they've been brilliant. The team that can actually be healthy and string a couple of wins together, like 2, 3, 4 wins in a row, you're going to find yourself maybe jump to second. I think Sydney are going to finish top. We know that they're 2-3 games clear, but it is wide open for any team that sits in that 5th bracket to 10. I just looked at the ladder then before we went to air, and I think the Port are right now sitting out of the 8, or are in danger of not making the 8 after the weekend. They can finish slide to 10th. So any team that can get their game together and get a healthy list, they're going to fly up the table as quickly as you know it. So the competition is so even. We just saw Gold Coast beat Collingwood tonight. It's just throwing the 8 into more chaos as a logjam. So games like this are super important for a team like the Giants, who are hanging on to 8th spot for dear life. And Geelong, I think, are 9th. They're playing at the same time tonight against Essendon. So it's just big games popping off everywhere at the moment.
Especially with the downfall of the Crows and the fact that they've had a number on them over the past couple of years. So they've won the last 4 against Adelaide, the Giants, most of them fairly comfortably. And yeah, they feel like, I guess, albeit on the road is always tricky, but on an easier win in terms of the options when you've got so many teams around you that could top you on any given weekend, Jamo.
Well, I tried to rip these teams apart to find out where either the Giants were going to really get over the top of Adelaide, or Adelaide might be able to sneak a strength in an area. But when you have a look at it and you deep dive into it, they're actually almost line for line. Like scores against, or scores for, it's 81 points and GWS 87. So there's 1 goal difference across the year, and they're defensively, they're 79.2, 79.5. Now that's just 2, but all the stats, when you deep dive into both of these teams, they're actually, it's hard to actually split them. But one has won 4 games, one's won 8. So that's how tough the competition is.
The biggest one for me, Jamo, is their midfield mixes. So the Crows have lost the centre bounce clearances by 9 per game. They're the worst in the league for that in the last 4 rounds. The Giants, meanwhile, have allowed their opponents to score from 43% of their centre bounce clearances. So they're the worst in the league for that. So you've got 2 sides whose midfields have been absolutely obliterated over the past month of football. And now one of them has to be better than the other.
Well, I think it's going to be, isn't it? The Giants know their deficiency, and albeit you turn your one wood into and continue to make that better, but you've got to maintain your deficiencies and or improve, but don't focus on them. And Adelaide, they've just got to find a way. Like, we know they can get their hands on the football. There's no doubt. Now, Matty Crouch is the player to do that, but he's not in the team tonight. And then there's heavy reliance on Laird, and you want Rankin too. So, Riley O'Brien, it's a big job for him tonight as a leader of this club to come back in after a couple of weeks in the SNFL to get going and have a real crack.
Well, he's on notice, isn't he? And they dropped him for a couple of weeks to give him a bit of a shake-up. They've brought him back in, and no disrespect to Sean, but Riley O'Brien is the number 1 ruck of this football club for the moment. He's got a big job in Kieran Briggs tonight. Briggs is probably one of the most underrated ruckmen in the competition. A bit undersized, but has a crack, and he's very, very strong, and he will go from the minute the ball's bounced to the minute the ball to the final siren. He does not let up. So Ryan O'Brien's got a big job tonight. But look, Adelaide this year have had moments where they look like themselves. They haven't been as bad as what their record kind of suggests. Yeah, we know that they've lost some games and they've had a lot. The momentum has killed them at times. But on the flip side of that, I always look at it positively when I look at Adelaide and obviously Port Adelaide. I look at what are they doing well? Well, when Adelaide go with speed and go from their back half to their front half and get their forwards up the ground and get running back to goal, they look super dangerous. They just for whatever reason they just haven't been able to sustain that for long periods this year compared to last year. And what they need to do is they need to try to stop teams kicking multiple goals on them. I think they're one of the worst in the comp for goals against the kick in a row. So if they can stop that tonight and go level in the midfield with the Giants, I think they're a chance tonight. And why not? You know, the shackles are off. They play loosely, you play free, play with a bit of flair. The Giants aren't flying, let me tell you. They're not playing that well at the moment either. So who knows? Adelaide could get their big scalp tonight.
Thoughts of Premiership stars Dean Brogan, Rod Jamieson, your experts tonight on ABC Sport for Saturday night footy. It's Adelaide and GWS to continue round 16. There is another game on as well over at the MCG between Geelong and Essendon. Both this game and that one about 5 minutes away from bounce down. If you want to hear that, jump on the ABC Listen app and hit the AFL button. Otherwise, stick with us and we'll have the entire game live and ad-free, Adelaide and GWS on ABC Sport. No late changes here either, so the subs for the Crows, Zach Taylor, who is making his debut tonight as the sub, was technically a late change considering Chase Jones hurt himself in the captain's run and wasn't originally named, but was announced earlier today that he was going to be part of the lineup. And for the Giants, Toby McMullen is their sub tonight, so a chance for him in his 9th game to maybe make an impact off the bench, and it does mean that Max Gruzevski gets to start once again for the Giants. If you want to get in touch with us across the night, the text line is 0437 774 774. That's 0437 774 774. Dean, I've got a really random question to throw at you. I was going to ask it to Nathan Van Berlo earlier today on SA Grandstand, and we ran out of time with him. But in layman's terms, as someone who's been a very elite ruckman for a large majority of his career, the Crows are first for hit out to advantage percent rate. So they're getting the tap when O'Brien's in there and hitting a target. But they're last for centre bounce clearance differential. So how can you comfortably win a hit out to an advantage but not capitalise and win a clearance? What's going wrong there?
Well, centre bounce is a little bit different to other stoppages around the ground. You've got wingmen who are closer to the stoppage. You've probably got a half back, a half forward, either your half forward coming up to the stoppage or an opposition half forward, or you've got a half back that's playing really aggressive. You've got more numbers around the footy. So that's where you probably get a bit more at advantage if you've got an extra number around the stoppage. But in the centre bounce, it's just 1v1. It's just you and your man, and it's all about body positioning, where you hit the ball. If you give your back, does the sweeper hold? So you rely on your body positioning. And I always taught when I coached the midfield at the Giants, funnily enough, is never give your back. So you've got to own the outside. I think Adelaide at times, they get too pushed under the ball a little bit and the ball bubbles out, and that's where they get destroyed a little bit on the outside. So you should always, one should always be a hit to, and the other two in there should always try and own the outside. But the only problem with that is the opposition's trying to do pretty much exactly the same. So, but the Giants' numbers say they've been pretty poor in that area as well. So it's such a crucial part of the game, because if you get that right, you're going inside 50 as quickly as anything. And with numerous times on the calls this year, centre bounce goals have killed Adelaide. They're momentum swingers. So you kick a quick centre bounce goal, it's normally after obviously a goal that's just been kicked. So if that's the team that you're playing against, they've kicked one, they've kicked two, and then all of a sudden you look up, they've kicked 2 or 3 goals in a row. So centre bounce is just huge. So the answer to your question is maybe Adelaide just aren't owning the outside, or they're being too aggressive in there, and that's why they're not getting bang for buck out of Riley O'Brien's hits to advantage and hits to his teammates.
Good summary. There's a lot of trust and cohesion in the middle there too. Like if you're a half a metre or a step under the football, you get forced under, and you get 2 going in at once. One sits back, but they're out the back, and you're away and they are clean. So there's so much to it, but in simple terms, just hold your ground and just wait and hit when you need to hit, as opposed to trying to being too keen to go a bit early.
And the other thing that too is they've had Strawn in there the last 2 weeks. When you throw a different ruckman in there as well that hasn't played much with the AFL midfield, that's a whole different look. He changes his angle. He doesn't jump as high. He hits with his other hand. His hits are a little bit harder, or he might not win the hits. So it's a really game of roulette. It's like someone's winning it either way. It's a really, some teams value it more than other teams, but I'm a big believer in you've got to be a really good centre bounce team to go really far in this competition.
Since we're discussing ruckwork, Brogues, I'm always curious, why entangle the other ruckman? If you're a shorter ruckman, you're going to struggle to get over the top. Why not jump over them?
Well, the new rule now allows you to do that, but back when I was playing, you weren't allowed to go across the line and tangle up. You had to really line yourself up and jump. So the new rule allows for the big beefier ruckman, which is why O'Brien is doing so well, because he's been around forever. He's a big lad. He doesn't jump much, so he's learnt the craft to get across and tangle up and sort of hit it to a zone. So that's why I think you're seeing the Brodie Grundys of the world now playing his best footy. The Max Scorns are so good at centre because they don't really jump much anymore. So I think it's a rule designed for the big, burly, bustly, ugly ruckman. But Briggs, he'll have his hands full tonight with Briggs because he's no joke.
Just a quick one to throw in there as well. So if you've got one putting his head over the footy and two on the outside, and then you throw in a tagger, and you've lost one of those players all of a sudden, does Toby Bedford do a roll tonight on a Jordan Dawson? Because that does restrict your options around the ball.
Well, there's a rule. You shouldn't tag at centre bounce because you can get pulled apart. So the rule is you can go near him, but you hold structure at centre bounce. But Toby Bedford has done a job the last couple of weeks. I think he would probably try and do a job tonight, but it wouldn't surprise me if Giants just come here and play their game, because Bedford, he did an okay job last week, but they didn't get the job done. They probably need him to get the footy tonight if they're to win.
Thoughts of Dean Brogan, Rod Jamieson, your experts on ABC Sport. The fifth member of our commentary team for the Crows and the Giants tonight. Down at ground level is Liz Walsh. Good evening, Liz.
Hello, Aaron. And yes, it's a chilly old night down here, but don't worry, I've brought down a towel with me. I've wiped all the rain from the seat. I'm wrapped up in a poncho and thermals, all set for a really big game where we're going to be seeing in this first quarter the Giants kicking to the scoreboard end of the ground after winning the toss. It's rained upwards of 30 mils in the past 24 hours across parts of Adelaide, but despite the rain, just sort of looking around the ground, it's looking a treat. A few spots of dew, of course. Otherwise, not much of a breeze. Currently, it is 10 degrees.
So can the Crows snap their losing streak rather, or will the Giants surge their way towards the top four? Adelaide and GWS, Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Great to have you with us live from the Adelaide Oval. Here's Neil Cross.
Questions to be answered by both sides. Adelaide coming off a bye and a lot of scrutiny on how they've gone this season. The Giants, well, they're coming off a loss in the Harbour Battle last week. Off the ruck contest, Adelaide will get the clearance. Rankin down to half forward. Walker smashes it out wide. Ball onto the ground, and there will be a free kick for a high tackle. Aaliyah going in high on Fogarty, said the umpire. And Fogarty will have a look at the goal face. 45 out, which puts him well and truly within striking distance.
I know there's only a couple of disposals in that passage of play. Darcy Fogarty here, but clearly Isaac Rankin, get it to the boot, just get it forward. Taylor Walker didn't want to grab the footy. He just hit it forward. I think that's how Adelaide are going to roll tonight.
Darcy Fogarty, in he comes. Out slightly to his right. Knows his kick, does he? Oh no, it's the top of the post. Just grazed it on the way through. Adelaide with the first score of the night, coming after 50 seconds.
Quick entry from Whitfield. Uses Iden in the left back pocket. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. He leans back on the kick up towards left half back. Rankin rises, but he's outmarked. Strong in the air from the return incoming. First game for the year after a plethora of lower leg injuries. He had his calf and his hammy. Already has an early touch. Pops it short. Utilises Perryman. Another one who's back into the side. The trifecta for the Giants. Up the broadcast wing he goes. Floating forward, Riccardi, outnumbered. Knocked to ground and over the boundary line it goes. Match underway at the MCG as well. If you do want to hear the call between Geelong and Essendon, jump on the ABC Listen app and hit the AFL button.
So O'Brien will go against Briggs. O'Brien circles round, gets to the front, brings it down. Giants able to go forward. Toby Green just socketed inside 50 off the legs of Daniels and then out towards the boundary line. 25 from the goal face. Get a throw in. The Giants going forward for the first time, attacking that northern end of the Adelaide Oval.
Big body of Tom Green. 35 disposals last week. Pedler started on him. Roy Laird's on him also.
Speaking of Laird, he's in there now and he gets a hand pass out wide. Shelley just bombed the ball down the wing, rolling. Tom Green picked it up, taken in a tackle. Himmelberg now, the Adelaide Himmelberg. Elliott gets it out, good hand pass. Rochelle down the line. Rankin takes it and takes off. Sends it long, looking for over the back was Keys. He's got position on Ash, who did very, very well. Got the ball, snuck a hand pass out to Ward and then to Buckley.
Jams it out of defensive 50. Coming late, Brown with the fist. Impeded Murray. Free kick to go the way of the Crows. So too far out to score.
I like Josh Rochelli's haircut.
Can detail it in a moment, Jamo, as Murray pops it into the pocket. Rankin rises, crashed the pack, hits the deck. Dowling caught the belly of the footy front and square. Skied to the goal square. Walker was there. It wasn't 15. Mark isn't paid. Dropped it, towed it towards Keys, and he puts it through on the goal line. Does he? Touched. Minor score. He was celebrating already with the front row, but goal umpire was right there. So 2 early behinds for Adelaide. They lead the Giants yet to score, and it's going to come straight back in. Long exit. Landed in the lap of Keane.
He drops it short and wide for Scholl. Right on the arc of 50, the man on the mark. Scholl, I don't think he's got the distance. He knows he hasn't. Sits it up. 15-20 from goal. Here comes O'Brien off hands. Ash for GWS goes with the kick out onto the eastern side into the pocket. Still in somehow. Ward picks it up. Forward hand pass. Cornelio taken in a tackle by Berry. Hand passed it out. Crows fans looking for deliberate, but umpire says throw it in. Liz Walsh on the boundary very quickly.
An early concern for Adelaide. Darcy Fogarty's come from the ground. His right hand is giving him a lot of pain. He's currently having ice rubbed all over it.
Crows by 2. O'Brien taken out of the ruck contest, but Rankin was running by, stalking dangerously. He had a quick snap around the body from 40 and out on the full on the left-hand side.
Well, we talk about matchups. Bedford started on Rankin at the centre bounce, but as the game's gone on, he's gone looking for Dawson, and he is wearing him like a glove. So that's the matchup we expected, and that's exactly what's happening.
And left Rankin loose now too. 3 disposals and dangerous.
Hayden went short. Perryman with the ball. He's taken it. Only 25 from goal. Sends it out long. Eastern side of the ground. Off hands. Bedford at the front. Hand passes to Daniels. Gets the return. Bedford down to half forward. Good run. Brown out by himself. Unable to tap it past Keane. Smothered it to the Irishman. Took it over the boundary line.
Terrific work by Keane. Great call cross. He came off his man and it had to impact, or that was a certain goal. So well done, Keane. That's a gutsy play.
Big matchup between those 2 Irishmen tonight, Brown and Keane. Toss back in. O'Brien got front position on Briggs, put it in the path of Berry, but had Callahan right behind him, and he escorts him over the boundary line in front of the Wanganeen stand. Crows by 2 over at the G. Essendon lead Geelong by 6. First goal going the way of Jade Gresham. Toss back in. Briggs entangled with O'Brien on the tap down for the Giants. It bounces straight to Berry though. Handball back. Dowling dance stepping his way through traffic. Gee, that looks special from the youngster. Got it out wide. Hinge thrusts it forward to Rankin. He's been everywhere so far, but can't escape the grip of Whitfield. Wrapped in the tackle, holding the ball. Free kick at right half forward, and they'll take the advantage. Racing by. Green got a handball to Cornelio. Now Callahan loads up from 45. Went long and wide. Far left and out on the full. Free kick in front of the hill to Adelaide.
I'll tell you what, there's a nice pace to this game, isn't there, to start it? Both teams are really energised and trying to move the ball real quick, and they both look hungry tonight.
Keane went across the goals, found Dowling just inside the boundary. He gave it to Hinge, who turned it over with his kick to centre wing. It's Callahan in the middle of the ground for GWS now. Goes with his left foot, this time strikes it well. Gets it to where he wants. Brown the target, Keane got rid of him. Hand pass out the back. Michael Annie did well. Beautiful disposal. Found Laird at half-back on this broadcast side. Inbounds he goes. Just in that 45 kick to Berry, who holds up.
You know most teams are on, particularly Adelaide, that quick execution of a 45 kick, that one a bit high.
Berry to Laird, who just popped it up, lingered in the air on the broadcast wing and brought to ground by Callaghan. Green now towards Whitfield, looks in the scoreboard pocket. Kick was poorly weighted. Michael Lanny read it best. Toby Green had no idea where it was dropping and intercepted by the Crows youngster.
You don't see that too often from Whitfield. He would lace Green out on the chest.
Speaking of excellent kicks, Michael Lanny to the leading Walker, who takes it at left half back. Up the outer wing he goes. Getting in front position, Dawson went to ground, fell into the footy in the process. Spilled to Barry, who's set upon by a couple of Giants. Ball up in front of the Bashir stand, Crows by 2.
Max Michael Lanny, 36 games, just on Toby Green, were wearing like a glove.
It's a big job, isn't it?
Off the ruck contest, Berry takes it and he is buried by Big Briggs. Another ball up. Bedford to go with Dawson. Notice that Dawson's running forward and saying, well, let's see how your marking is against me. Ball comes down. Dawson this time gets a kick just quickly out of the pack towards the boundary line. Umpire says, throw it in. Could have been insufficient intent. And the umpire says, we'll have a throw in. Just outside the arc of 50 for Adelaide, attacking the River Torrens end of the ground.
14 kicks or 21 now to Adelaide, but they were going at 44%, so just sneaking 52, so a little off at the moment.
Free-flowing and low-scoring so far. Hamill, though, gets it out of the stoppage. Inside 50, a little high for Walker. Couldn't reel it in, but he did enough. Tapped it down in the path of Murphy. Caught a stray arm high, but no whistle. Spills towards Perryman. Handball as he was running out of room. Found Elliot Himmelberg, who finds Keys. Running through a couple of Giants players. Gives it off to Berry. Snaps around the pocket, the body rather, and hooks it far left. Took a bounce and hit the left-hand behind post. So boundary throw-in to come in front of the Riverbank stand end. Adelaide by 2. The only behinds of the game so far at the 8-minute mark of the opening quarter.
Inside 50s, 5 apiece.
Ball comes back into play from the boundary umpire. Straight down to Keys, just off his knees. Ward jived at the ball. Tom, oh, now it's with Keys again. Across the goals, what a goal. He snuck it in there. And Connor Iden's claiming it was touched. It'll be reviewed. Goal umpire, though, has signalled all clear. He was caught hard against the behind post and the ball fell to him and Keys just slid the ball through. So while we're awaiting the review, which will take place before the centre bounce, Liz Walsh on the boundary for ABC Sport.
Yeah, Darcy Fogarty, who I said before came from the ground, he looked like he was having a lot of pain just on the top of his left hand, and he's had ice rubbed on it. He looks okay, and he's now running back out there.
Good news for Crows fans, and I reckon it'll be backed up by confirmation that is certainly a goal from Ben Keys. Just dropped it on his boot out of nowhere, Chamo, and has snuck that through.
Cullen Ward, they're involved in it, right in the pocket. The handball just went wayward, and Keys was quick to jump on it. Iden is claiming that he touched it, but I think he missed it by a couple of inches.
Adelaide by 8, your experts Rod Jamieson, Dean Brogan, premiership players for Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Meanwhile, over at the MCG, scores level between Geelong and the Bombers. And there's a bit of a delay here.
We're still waiting for the review.
Maybe we've jumped the gun and Connor Iden was right.
I reckon he's got a little finger to it.
Yep. I think it might be his middle finger, actually.
Oh, get the erasers out. This is going to damage some records. Crowd's getting restless. We've seen every possible angle.
Ring finger of his right hand.
I don't think the whiteout works either, does it?
It doesn't look aesthetically pleasing either. Not a fan.
Well, I'm ready to use mine, let's say.
Oh, they're rolling with it.
They're going. Ball up in the middle. Goal confirmed. Connor Iden will be ropeable. The Giants get the clearance anyway. Briggs down to Callaghan. Ward off half-back Harry Himmelberg. Uses Callaghan once again. Screws it up towards the broadcast wing. Perryman now, plenty of acres to run into. Sends it up towards the 50 for the Giants. Charging across was Dawson. He knew exactly where it was going as soon as it left the boot. Ran a good 20 metres, floated across and intercepted. He's got Toby Bedford on him at the moment, but found a couple of possessions early. Up towards Fogarty, had a couple to beat. Hit the deck. Perry racing onto it, pounces and hands it off to Dawson once again. Kicks through centre wing. Fogarty was over the top with the overlap. can turn at right half forward, bang it towards Walker. The Giants converge, knock it away from him, and Keys comes with the assist but can't reel it in. Boundary throw in to come, right forward pocket.
Well, if you're ever going to test your back, Taylor Walker, you just got your back tested. That kick from Fogarty just sat on his head, and Taylor Walker got crunched by Keys' man, but he bounced straight back up, so
that's where
all
you
looks
sometimes
okay.
need to be careful, don't you? Like Keys, just get out, so you're not bringing in the defender.
Correct.
O'Brien taps it down straight to Rankin across the body from the pocket. He just missed, just a little narrow as he tried to pull it back, running into the right forward pocket. Adelaide with another behind. They are threatening the goal, but they've only got one so far. 1-3-9, and that is the margin over the GWS. They're yet to score.
Well, they look real sharp, Adelaide. They're 8-2 in clearances, plus 6 in clearances, and they just look sharper with the footy and look with more intent by going forward tonight, which is really good to see. And we know when Adelaide are at their best, this is what they do.
Lockie Asher's exit went over the head of Alir, and now a boundary throw-in that's tapped in the path of Rankin. Spun a full 360 by Perryman, and a ball up to come.
Incredible the way he reads that. You just hit it. You spoke about the centre clearances and how key it is to read off a ruckman, but just to clean hands through there, Isaac Rankin.
O'Brien went down, but only found Callahan. Gave it off to Kelly, and now Toby Green runs around Michael Annie and surges into the square. He's run a mile, bangs it long into the 50. 2-on-2 awaiting there. Juggling it. Nankervis did well for the Crows. There's a whistle anyway going Adelaide's way. High contact, and they'll take the advantage. Up to right half back, they move it. Saligo marks uncontested. No one on the mark either, so he can take his time. Race up towards right half back. Close to the boundary line, towards centre wing. O'Brien got some space to take the mark. This is opponent Riccardi slipped over. Riding shotgun was Berry towards the 50. They converge on Fogarty, so he taps it down to Rankin, who was all alone, can hook it to the goal square, and Keys is waiting solo. Takes the mark on the chest, 10 out.
Well, that started. We talk about Adelaide's intent tonight. O'Brien takes the mark. I reckon a month ago he would have gone back off the mark and looked for a short pass. Instead, he plays on straight away to Berry for a handball, which then gives a forward a chance to have a shot like this with Keys 10 metres out in front. So Adelaide's intent is absolutely spot on tonight.
Ben Keys runs in and drills it from 20. He's got the first 2 of the night. And Adelaide at 2-3-15 lead the Giants, who are yet to score at the 14-minute mark of this opening term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Liz Walsh downstairs.
For anyone interested in the Giants banner tonight, of course, they're really known for their hilarious takedowns of their opposition. Tonight, the banner has said, last year your fans got around us in September. This banner is nice. We always remember. But I'm not sure, having not scored anything yet, how much longer that nice is going to last.
I think at the moment, I think you'd be looking at Adam Kingsley just going, all right, we know that Dawson's getting a hold of the football, but I'd be going to Rankin right now. His numbers, he's 5 disposals, 4 contested, 3 ground ball gets, 2 clearances, 2 inside 53 score involvement. He's the man you want to shut down.
Riccardi into the ruck opposed to Himmelberg, who's the second ruckman for Adelaide. Riccardi gets the break out of the middle. Down to half forward, Keane comes and meets it. Hand pass forward, finds Saligo. Out to the eastern wing he goes with his kick. Didn't find his man. Brilliant half volley by Keys. Boy, does he feel good at the moment. Murphy down to half forward now. Comes off the hands of Fogarty out wide. Hand pass forward. Came from Rochelle. He found Laird, who just took too much time. Ball smothered off the boot and over the line, just outside attacking for the Crows. They are run and gun tonight.
Well, what they're doing is Rankin starting at centre bounce, and then he's pushing forward, and that's allowing Dawson to come up across the footy. So they're losing. Giants are losing Rankin and Dawson in play. So really smart tactics by Adelaide.
Toss back in. It bounced off the bootlaces of Briggs, and the Giants get the clearance up towards centre half back. Adelaide's converge, and the tackle laid by Brown to hold things up. Lockie Show at the bottom of the pack. So the Crows by 15. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Hot start from the home side. Elliot Himmelberg in the ruck wins it down for Adelaide. To Rankin, couldn't get away from Perryman, so Dawson toes it in the path of Murphy. Can gather low. 55 out, scrambles it into the 50, but only finds Harry Himmelberg. Playing against his brother tonight. Giants with Harry and Elliot for the Crows. Uses Iden in the left back pocket. Dangerous kick. Lowered the eyes hard towards Kelly. Waited for it. Closing was Laird. Got a spoil in and becomes the tackler, and will get a ball up for 35 out, rather, right forward pocket.
Great anticipation. Rory Laird just to get there, bring it to ground.
Walker goes up in the ruck contest, knocks it down, but straight to Kelly, who clears for GWS. Back towards centre wing. Comes off hands, Michael Annie through. Took the ball, lost it, then took it again. Now he's over it. Umpire circling. Michael Annie did well, got it out. Nankervis picked it up, kicked it inside 50, and Harry Himmelberg, too big, too strong, took the mark away from Ben Keys. Moves it straight out to the eastern side of the ground. Iden there, still in the back pocket. Called a play on, able to run away. Goes towards centre wing Hogan. Haven't called him yet. Came off his hands. It'll be a free kick play on advantage. Toby Green hand passes it over the top, and they're away through Callaghan.
Whitfield thrusts it to him, and now he can turn his back and go. Tucks it under one arm. Takes a bounce up to 50. Squares it. Beautiful delivery to Cumming. He floated forward and clunks it 30 out. Slight angle to the left.
Well, that's the Giants at their best, isn't it? It was a free kick that Hogan got on the far side in front of the Max Bashir stand, and they just played on quick and went 100 mile an hour and gave their forwards a really good look. And Callaghan, you give him time and space, he'll catch you up. So good play by the Giants.
Star, isn't he, too, Finn Callaghan? He's really
been a bit off this year, but when he's up and about, he's one of the best for them.
Yep.
So the backman Isaac Cumming, who does know how to kick goals, had 6 last year, trots in low and hard and accurate. The Giants' first goal tonight comes on the cusp of time on. 1 straight 6, Adelaide 2-3-15. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Your experts, premiership players, Rod Jamieson and Dean Brogan.
Well, I think Matty Nix would have been happy, certainly with that first maybe 16 minutes of this quarter. The footy was played in Adelaide's forward half, and that's where it's been. And 49% to 30, and it's just changed with the Giants winning the football and running it down the outer side too. And albeit Callaghan's first shot on goal, Wayward, went out on the full. His next 2 kicks penetrating and finding a teammate to finish off with a goal.
But what's good about these two teams tonight is they're both taking the game on. Like, they are not waiting for someone to throw a punch. They're both going 100 mile an hour and trying to get it inside the 50s really quick. So it's great viewing at the moment.
Senior ruckman back on the ground. O'Brien got the better of Briggs that time. Coming in off the wing, Cumming the goal scorer. Taken in a heavy tackle by Rankin. Forces the ball up. Umpire sorting things out. Briggs maybe had the better of it. Knocked it out to Cumming. Quickly to Whitfield by hand, then Kelly. And then Kelly goes back to Ash. Off half back. He goes long towards half forward. Contest there and punched away by Adelaide. It came to Nankervis. He slipped over as he meant to give the hand pass, whereas Shelley was there, taken to ground in a tackle. So the front end of the centre square for the Giants at left half forward. And the umpire says, throw it up.
Jeff Dalglish tosses it in the air. O'Brien wins it down towards Laird, who tunnels a kick through to the broadcast wing. Charging onto it, Cumming once again. Hands it to Tom Green. And they'll retreat all the way back to Iden at centre half back. Look to complete the switch. To the Bashir stand he goes. There's a one-on-one there. Harry Himmelberg and Ben Keys, and the latter had plenty of Guernsey as he slid in to try and retrieve the ball. Just held up Harry Himmelberg. Gives away the free. Dinkett just the required 15 to the logo. Whitfield's waiting there. Now out wide on the 45 to Ward. Playing game at 305. Game's record holder for the Giants.
Yeah, he was a good player at Western Bulldogs before coming across, and then had some challenges, but he's been hard at it every time.
Squares it back to Whitfield, so a couple of touches early for him, and up to the attacking edge he goes to Callaghan. It was an easy mark that he should have taken sliding low. He's put it down and then caught high by Berry. So they get away with 1 GWS, trailing by 9 and about to head inside 50.
Callaghan back off the mark. Arcs cross to his left foot. Keys got a hand on it. Adelaide as a result through Berry. Picks up the ball, flipped a hand pass to Laird, then Nankervis, then wide for the run of Hamill to Fogarty, just behind centre wing, thought about going. Not much ahead, so he's held up. Giants have one back. Lecalier clashing off the ball with Cook, but meanwhile, Hinge has the ball. Dobbs a kick to Rankin, runs across the square, towards centre half forward. Kicks long now, looking for Himmelberg going back. Oh, stretching and knocking it 20 metres back through the goals. Well done by Cumming for GWS. Pressure relieved there. Still, it's 1 goal for the Giants, 2-4-16 for Adelaide. And we are 21 minutes into the opening quarter.
Disposal number 7 for Lockie Whitfield. As he pops it into the pocket to Harry Himmelberg. He's calling for someone to come at him, but the Giants teammates aren't really offering. They're looking a bit stagnant. He'll have to bomb it up to the outer wing. Charging forward, Briggs maybe nudged under the footy by O'Brien. Certainly sold it that way, but it will be a boundary throw-in as it rolls over the paint.
Crow's just going to be a bit wary of Lockie Whitfield. He's just starting to get his hands on the footy, going at 80%. Is someone like a Keys probably might need to go a bit closer to him and nullify his influence, because the last thing they want is Lockie Whitfield having 30, 35 possessions tonight.
Toss back in. Ward dancing his way into the traffic. Caught in the tackle. Hinge closed and forced the turnover. Laird releases Rankin from 50. Loads up and misses on the left-hand side. Minor score again for Adelaide. I think the margin should be way bigger than it is. 2-5-17 plays 1 straight 6. Time on in the opening term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Great defensive work, Mitch Hinge.
Himmelberg with a kick in. Great defensive work by Murphy, who knocked it to ground, got his own ball. Hand pass forward. He found Cook, who gave it to Rochelle. Poked the ball forward. Now Cook with a chance for the goal after he received the ball from Keys. He just tried the banana kick on the run, and he hit too much of the ball and sent it through for the minor score. Adelaide, it's becoming an epidemic now of behinds. And they still lead by 2 goals.
But what they're doing well is they're pressing hard up to intercept, and they're having an impact. And when they do intercept, they are going so quick that they might even have to slow down a little bit so they can get a bit more accurate. But you'd rather go that way and pull them back than having to speed them up. So their intent has been absolutely magnificent this first quarter.
Round 14, when the Giants played Port, it was probably one of the worst games to actually watch. They don't look like the same side tonight, the Giants.
Ash bangs it up towards the outer wing for the Giants. Centre the 4, the footy. Front and square was Cornelio. Gave it to Whitfield, then Bedford. Dinks it towards the 50. Back with the flight. Mark taken by Grishevsky in his second game tonight. Lowered the eyes and unselfishly shared it with Josh Kelly, who marks 45-degree angle to the right, 35 out.
Well, to counter what I just said, if you are going to push hard and press up hard in your defence, you are going to get done out the back a couple of times, and that's exactly what happened then. And it's the balance game, isn't it? So you've got to get it right, or you're going to allow easy shots.
Josh Kelly had 2 Brownlow votes the last time these two sides met. 28 touches in a goal, and he's on the board tonight. And just like that, it's a 1-goal game. 2-6-18 Adelaide to the Giants 2 straight 12. 24-minute mark of the opening term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Your experts, Adelaide Premiership player Rod Jamieson, former Giant Dean Brogan.
Well, we spoke about it pre-game, trying to pull these two teams apart. It's a game of efficiencies, isn't it, too? When you have a look, it's 78 touches to 72 in favour of the Giants' way. They're going at 71% kicking efficiency. Adelaide 57. Plus they've gone in 12-9 in favour of Adelaide, so 3 more. And when they've gone in, 2 goals straight to 2-6. 2 of those are rushed behind as well. So, and the way that they move the football, being the Giants, it is class.
Heard our experts on ABC Sport talking about the Gold Coast match in similar circumstances. Collingwood getting out the back like the Giants just did. Briggs gets the break from the middle, the big ruckman for the Giants, sends them forward. It comes off hands, Adelaide through handballs, able to get it out of their defensive 50. They found Dowling, who sent it high towards centre wing. Briggs gets across, takes it on his chest, uncontested in the end. Right on the logo, sweeps a hand pass. Forward they go again. Perryman off his non-preferred left foot. Michael Annie opposed to Toby Green, knocked it down. Found its way to Kelly. Just scrubbed the ball. It's still all inside 50. Bedford over the ball. Knocked it out towards Daniels. Daniels taken in a tackle. Released it. Berry picked it up. He's taken down. Ball up right at the top of the arc of 50 for the Giants.
Tossed up, Adelaide by 6 at the moment. O'Brien wins it towards the centre square. Coming out far from home was Walker. He's wrapped up in a tackle. Is it Walker or is it Joshua Shelley? You're right, Jamie. He's got the new haircut.
I love the rip, and I like his approach already in this first quarter. He's had 4 disposals, and he's getting at it.
Briggs overhead tap to Daniels, who launches one high. It'll sit up in the goal square. Charging out. Huge fly and clunking it by Riccardi. Soared into the Adelaide sky. Both mitts in the air. And takes it high above ground. Straight in front, 15 out.
That's a fantastic grab, isn't it? This guy's got a lot of potential. Just doesn't seem to be able to put it together week in, week out. But when he does, he adds so much value to the Giants forward line.
Riccardi hasn't kicked a goal against Adelaide in the 3 games he's played. You can scrap that record. He's got his first of the night. And scores are level. Adelaide 2-6-18 to the Giants 3 straight 18. 27 minutes gone in the opening term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Your experts, Premiership stars Rod Jamieson and Dean Brogan.
Oh, Jesse Hogan's been a little bit quiet. He's the only player, along with Cullen Brown for the Giants and Lee Galea, that haven't touched the football at the moment in this first quarter. But you're right, I remember Riccardi when he came on, when he first started playing. It was a bigger body, just really presented, loved the contest, got up at it. Not dissimilar to the way he just took off at the contest then and led his opponent to the footy. But the Giants, once again, just persevere, get it forward and allow their teammates not the congestion by slow ball movement.
Out of the middle will be Adelaide through Dawson. He was being tackled by Bedford, got a kick away. Out to centre wing, off the ground, Perryman just knocks it down forward, and Toby Green beaten by Michael Annie, took a strong mark. Green being told to go back to the mark once, twice, finally he does.
It should be 50, shouldn't it?
He just ignored it for the moment. Meanwhile, Michael Annie went short to Nankervis. He's got a 45-degree kick inside that he picks off the hinge. This is the way the Crows want to move the ball. They also have been tonight moving it faster. Oh, he didn't kick that well at all, Hinge. Flat punt off the boot and out on the full. But at least it was a long flat punt.
Sorry, Crossy. Well, this has been Adelaide, hasn't it? We see patches of brilliance, and then we also see patches where teams go on a little bit of a run. Can they hold and stay in the contest and start winning back some footy? Because the Giants at the moment are starting to get their hands around the stoppages and the clearances, and they're starting to run all over them at the moment. So can Adelaide hold into quarter time?
Scores level. Down the wing went Bedford, bouncing its way into the 50. Adelaide have the numbers. Dowling uses Hinge. And then Nankervis did well, running out of room to stay in the field of play and head back up the wing. O'Brien should have taken it uncontested, put it down, and sliding in a high contact made by Jordan Dawson, impeding Harry Himmelberg. Just behind centre wing in front of the Bashir stand, the Giants have the footy and a chance to possibly take the lead on the stroke of quarter time, despite the scoring shots dramatically being against them. Pat converges, it slips out the back. GWS have numbers. Kelly hands it off. Daniels from 30 shares it to the goal square. Riccardi gives it off and finished by Hogan. Beautiful teamwork on the quarter time siren. Matthew Nicks would be ropeable. The Giants have the lead. 4 straight 24 to Adelaide's 2-6-18. The goal scorers for the Giants, all individual. Cumming, Kelly, Riccardi, and now Hogan. For Adelaide, they're 2 coming from Ben Keys to kickstart the game. Over at the MCG, quarter time there as well. Bit of a shootout. The Bombers lead Geelong 4-2-26 to 3-2-20. So we'll keep you up to date with that across the night. But if you do want to hear the call, jump on the ABC Listen app and hit the AFL button. Plenty coming your way tonight in this doubleheader on ABC Radio, News Radio, Sport Digital and the ABC Listen app. This is Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
Wimbledon 2024 on ABC Sport. Hear it live every night on the ABC Listen app. Just search for the tennis button. This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Oh, now it's with Keys again. Across the goals. What a goal. He snuck it in there. And Connor Idens claiming it was touched. It'll be reviewed. Goal umpire, though, has signalled all clear.
Riding shotgun was Berry towards the 50. They converge on Fogarty, so he taps it down to Rankin, who is all alone, can hook it to the goal square, and Keys is waiting solo. Takes the mark on the chest, 10 out. Then Keys runs in and drills it from 20. He's got the first 2 of the night.
Toby Green hand passes it over the top, and they're away through Callaghan.
Whitfield thrusts it to him, and now he can turn his back and go. Tucks it under one arm, takes a bounce, up to 50, squares it. Beautiful delivery to Cumming. He floated forward and clunks it 30 out, slight angle to the left. So the backman Isaac Cumming, who does know how to kick goals, had 6 last year, trots in, low and hard and accurate. Briggs overhead tap to Daniels, who launches one high. It'll sit up in the goal square, charging out, huge fly and clunking it by Riccardi. Soared into the Adelaide sky, both mitts in the air, and takes it high above ground. Riccardi hasn't kicked a goal against Adelaide in the 3 games he's played. You can scrap that record. He's got his first of the night.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio
ABC Sport Digital.
and on the ABC Listen app.
The hot start from the Crows unravelled in a matter of 5 minutes. The Giants kicked the last 3 goals of the first term and now lead by 6. 4 straight 24 to Adelaide's 2-6-18. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Aaron Bryans and Neil Cross calling the action. Premiership stars, your experts, Rod Jamieson and Dean Brogan with Liz Walsh downstairs. The text line, if you want to get in touch, 0437 774 774. Shout out to Peter, who's listening from the Solomon Islands. Says, "G'day team, have a great call." So do get in touch with us across the night, 0437 774 774. First break at the G as well. Essendon lead Geelong by 6. We'll keep you up to date with that across the night. Jamo, Brogues, be frustrating for Crows fans with the season essentially over and hoping to look for some goodwill on this run home that they showed so much promise and then give it away.
Well, I thought, as a fan and calling that first quarter, I thought Adelaide's intent for 3 quarters of that quarter was unbelievable. Like, that's what we expect from Adelaide. And they had so many shots on goal where they were actually going inside 50 so quick that they probably butchered it a little bit. But like I said in the call, you'd rather go that way and maybe pull it back just a little bit so they can be a little bit more efficient going inside 50. But their intent was to go as hard as they could and play on at all costs, and it worked for them. But on the flip side of that is when you don't get it right and you press up too far up the ground, and especially against a deadly team like the Giants, if they get out, they're going to kick some goals on you. So, and that's what the Giants did. They just controlled the ball a little bit. You know, your Whitfields, your Tom Greens, your Lockie Ash, Perryman, Callaghan just started to get the ball in hand a little bit, and they started to piece their way through it, and they got a moment where they got out the back, and they just caught Adelaide a little bit napping towards the end of that quarter and kicked the last 3 goals. But if I'm Adelaide, don't change. If you're going to win tonight, you've got to go, you've got to play that way. You just got to tidy up your back 6 a little bit and maybe not come up as high, and maybe keep, I call him like a bit of a gatekeeper where he just controls the back, because if you come up too high, the Giants will get you out the back, and that's what we saw, towards the end of that quarter, didn't we, Jamo?
And Matthew Nicks just went over to his back line then, and he just said something for probably 10 seconds. But it was that last contest, I think your back went up. I reckon there was 4 or 5 Adelaide that went up, and as soon as it hit the ground, they were out, and there were 4 or 5 handballs plus that kick, and he could have gone 2 other options to kick the goal. So that is part of the problem. We spoke about Adelaide. They were in control, playing the football where they wanted to. The last 10 minutes of that quarter, 50% Giants to 16% Adelaide. So that's the time, either of the quarter or a game, when the opposition get a hold of you. We spoke about it pre-game. You've got to negate it. You've got to break it down. So I think, to your point, Brogues, continue to do it. But at some point, you've just got to say, boys, just pull back here and shut it down.
Yeah, and take your medicine, go long down the line, get a stoppage. But that's a learning part of the group, and I'm sure Matty Nixon, like you said, would have come out and said that, boys, we went way too quick for way too long, and it's hard to play like that for a whole game. So really good start by Adelaide. It's what you want to see from your footy team, but you got to get the balance right.
Yeah. Rankin, great start, 9 disposals. Mitch Hinge always off the half-back line. Keys dangerous up forward. Rory Laird just getting a fair bit of the football, continually gets a heavy tag. Riley O'Brien, not too bad. But you got Briggs, who actually is winning the ruck certainly in taps and also taps to advantage, but it's the way in which the Giants use the football with their quality players. Finn Callaghan, for me, we touched on it, just how elite he is, carries the football. And then you talk about Josh Kelly, and there's probably 3 or 4 underneath that as well.
The Giants by 6, Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. There's a block in the ruck contest going O'Brien's way. So the first exit to Adelaide as he hands it to Rankin. Long bomb into the 50, wide of Dawson. It bounces to Walker at the back, wrapped up by Dunkley, so he flung it into the air. Hayden fights for it and handed it straight to Elliot Himmelberg. Heard the call, but it was the wrong Big H. Gave it off to Fogarty, tight in the scoreboard pocket, tried to keep moving it forward, but found the brother in Harry. Over the boundary line he goes. So 25 out, right forward pocket. Giants by 6.
So Bedford has gone to Rankin with Dawson starting up in the forward at the start of that quarter.
So Briggs and O'Brien renew acquaintances. They nullify each other. It comes down to Saligo, who went around and around, and the umpire said holding the ball. Free kick will go to Ash. So inside defensive 50 for the Giants, looking for options. They can't go quickly.
First quarter.
He goes with a low kick, and Adelaide just slap it forward. Comes down to Rankin. Outside 50, went with the left foot. It was touched off the boot. Picked up by Murphy, swamped by a couple, holding the ball. Free kick to Whitfield. Drops it wide for Harry Himmelberg. Coming out of his defensive 50. Sends it wide. Near the interchange gates. Across came Murray to knock it away from Brown, and over the boundary line will get the throw in.
You'd just like to see Rankin. He tried to do the right thing and hit a little dinky kick to his forward, but he probably had every right to have a shot on goals then.
Dawson's come up to the play. Bedford's gone to him. Rankin on his own.
Tossed in O'Brien again, looking for Rankin. Just a little wide of him surging by. Here comes the tackler on Callaghan, though. The Giants get it out of there. Tom Green to Whitfield. Hacks it high up towards half forward. Murray floated across, couldn't clunk it. Spilled down towards Brown. He towed it to Daniels. Trying to get away from Saligo. Snapped around the body and found Bedford. 55 out, wants to keep moving. To the top of the goal square he goes. Hogan's one out. Butts brought it down. Running by Grishevsky, couldn't control it. Hogan rips it away. Gave it to Brown. He's spun down by Murray. Ball up. The Crows fans would be a little frustrated that a few of their players have been pinged and he wasn't. Stoppage inside 50 for the Giants. They're up by 6.
Both ruckman fight it out. Briggs just knocked it down to Toby Green. His first kick of the night is a goal. Under pressure, quick snap, class finish. He's had 9 handballs and now 1 kick for 1 goal. Adelaide 2-6-18, now trailing the Giants 5 straight 30 after 2.5 minutes of the second term.
Well, we touched on that in the centre clearances, but around the ground, players come in, get sucked into the contest, lose their immediate opponent. Max Michaelani was a metre or 2 in front of him, Brogues.
It's a great call, Jamo. Just watching the replay, and that's an absolute superstar against the kid making his way. He just watched the footy. Toby Green nudges him under. Great hit by Briggs. And if Toby Green gets a little bit of space like that, he is going to bury you every time. So the young kid will learn on that. You've got to play Toby on back shoulder, especially in your forward 50 at a stoppage.
Loves burning Adelaide as well. Averages more than 3 goals a game in the last couple of games. He's faced the Crows. Now has one for the night. The Giants by 12. Free kick in the middle. Saligo wrapped up Tom Green, who threw it out. Free kick to the home side. Gives it to Laird. Penetrating kick. Fogarty. Got some space on Lekalia. Rises both mitts into the air and takes it 25 out, slightly right of centre.
And they need this, Adelaide. You know, we talk about momentum and teams kicking lots of goals against Adelaide with momentum. Giants have kicked 4 in a row. Adelaide really need this to stop the momentum from the Giants.
15 majors in his last 6 games. A hot streak for Darcy Fogarty. Hop skip in. And hits the post. Just drilled it into the right-hand upright.
Twice. Hit the post in the first quarter.
Another minor score. 2-7-19 Adelaide trailed the Giants 5 straight 30, 4 minutes into the second term.
Only consolation is at some stage the Giants are going to start missing from the kick-in. High on Hogan by O'Brien. So a free kick to Hogan. He stands at right half-back on this broadcast side. The Giants now with a long kick and picked off nicely by Butts straight away, inboard with his kick. Found Laird at the point of the square at half back. He goes sideways, top of the 50. Finds Murray, they're going sideways and backwards. He goes back to Michael Annie, inside defensive 50. Out the other side to Nankervis. Ball's moving but not forward at the moment for Adelaide. Nankervis held up. He goes further back. Adelaide have gone from near half back, virtually 50 metres backwards. And still they go, chipping around. Went from Michael Annie to Hinge, out to Nankervis and back to Hinge at right half back.
This is the movement that frustrates the fans, is you see so much electricity from them and then it halts.
Oh, but this is what we were saying earlier too. I think they've actually know that they've got to maintain possession. They slow it down. They'll work their way through.
But they've banged it long. The pack was there. It hits the deck and a tackle's laid. So that for all that goodwill, it's now a 50-50 ball in front of the Odie stand.
But they're still 60 metres down line.
I like your positivity, Jamo.
It's not always about blistering speed and moving it hard and forward because teams won't allow you to do it. It's about ground and actually playing it in your forward half.
Tell that to the Iron Man next to you, Dean Brogan. Fresh off 62 Ks in Cairns. It's all about blistering speed.
I know what you're saying, Aaron. So, they switched back and switched sideways about 3 or 4 times, but maybe they could have taken along down the line a bit earlier. But it's just getting that balance right. And now they're in a bit of shell shock at the moment, Adelaide, because the Giants are coming really hard at them.
Tossed in, Briggs got it to Callaghan. A chain of handballs now to Cornelio. Bullet pass to Toby Green. Wants to drive it hard towards the 50. Charging out was Hogan, knocked away from him. Spilled down towards Scholl for Adelaide. Hands it off to Murphy, off balance. Tries to send it to centre wing. Broadcast side and knocked away from Keys by Lockie Ash.
You don't want to harp on it, but the Fogarty miss, you can see it just deflates a little bit. You need a goal, you need one badly. A team's coming hard at you, and you hit the post. It just sends you on your back foot a little bit for the Crows.
Off the ruck contest, Scholl picked it up, tackled immediately, lost it. Callaghan comes out of the pack, onto his left foot. From centre wing goes long, and from behind, he had the Sid Hogan and he dropped it on Keane. Now Toby Green picks it up, tackled to the ground, got the head pass away, umpire called play on. Adelaide still with numbers. Scholl out the back to Saligo, further out the back to Nankervis. Went with his non-preferred left foot. O'Brien comes late and takes a mark. Immediately flicks it to Scholl. Scholl through the centre. Low to Murphy. Half volleyed it well. Now Rankin open on the far side of the ground. Was Dowling. Dowling takes the ball and hits it long. 1-on-1 Walker. Got rid of his man. Iden came across and knocked it towards the boundary line for the Giants. Ash picked it up. Tackled over the line, just outside attacking 50 for the Crows. Murphy with the tackle there. That was enterprising from the Crows. They trail by 11 points.
Yeah, that's the play. When the big ruckman takes the mark, you've got to give the hand straight away, and it just breaks it open a little bit. So that's when you've got to go quick, and that's what they did really well.
Double tap overhead by O'Brien. Racing by was Rankin. Caught in a sandwich tackle, though. Hit the deck, shot out the footy. Riccardi manages to keep it in with Kelly right on the paint. He hacks it around the body up towards the centre wing on the outer side. Grishevsky couldn't keep it in there. Be tossed in front of the Bashir stand. Liz Walsh downstairs.
Keep an eye on Jordan Butts out there. He's definitely looking proppy on his legs. 2 trainers just ran out to him. He shooed them away, but he's definitely not 100%.
The Billy Dowling kick was okay, but Walker had to sit under it. I haven't seen Taylor Walker actually come at the football at any time tonight.
Toss back in, Giants by 11. It's extracted by Murphy, but quick kick towards the 50 only found Harry Himmelberg. And the switch is on now. We use Iden and up to right half back to Buckley.
Buckley elects to play on high towards centre wing. Dawson leads Bedford in the chase for the ball. Bedford got it to ground. Dawson following up, still poked out of there. That was a bit of luck for Perryman. Got it to Brown. Brown hacked it forward, but only 10 or 15 metres. Murray escorted it over the line for Adelaide. It's at right half forward for the Giants. And that's scoreboard 5 straight for GWS. Plays 2-7-19 for Adelaide. We've gone through 9.5 minutes of the second term on ABC Sport.
Toss back in, a little shallow for both rucks. That's because Riccardi and O'Brien were wrapped up wrestling, and that was an impediment of O'Brien. So he receives the free kick. Had Hinge running by. releases him. Penetrating kick up to left half forward. Walker with one arm just stuck in his mitt. So nonchalant. He turns, sends it towards Rankin, juggling, got it!
Oh, what a mark.
Right behind his neck. Bobbled out of his grasp, put his hands around the back and reeled it in front of the scoreboard.
How's the kick by Walker? That was unbelievable. He might not be able to get out and beat his man for a lead-up like you called, Jamo, but that's what he can still do. He's probably one of the best field kicks still going around in the AFL for his size, and what a bit of play from two absolute A-graders. Boy, do Adelaide need this.
Rankin manages to produce some special moments. Easy trot in and puts it through the big sticks. His first of the night. Adelaide's first goal since the 14-minute mark of the opening term as well. Makes it a 5-point game. 3-7-25 to the Giants, 5 straight 30. 10 minutes into the second quarter. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Your experts, premiership players, Rod Jamieson and Dean Brogan.
Yeah, Isaac Rankin had 14 disposals too. Adelaide inside 56-3, and they're going at 80%. So that is the difference at the moment in this second quarter. And how much of a difference does it make when you give it to the advantage of your teammate in space up the ground, as opposed to what we've seen, put it on your head, bringing your opponent in with a third man up. Just be aware of what's around you and when you move the football quick.
Himmelberg into the ruck, beaten by Briggs, who just hand passed it forward. Berry picks it up for Adelaide. Non-preferred left, down to half forward. Bounces near Keys. He managed to just tap it out. He follows up. There was a high tackle. Yes, there was a high shot there on Laird. And it'll come back to him at half forward. Can play on. Nobody on the mark. Laird goes quickly. Inside 50. Looks for Walker. Led up on Lekalia. Had 2 metres, and that was plenty. It was probably a metre too much.
Should be a coach. I actually don't want to be one. But I'm just watching Taylor Walker across his time, and lucky enough and privileged to sit here in the ABC box and call the football here at Adelaide Oval. When Taylor Walker is at his best, Adelaide are lacing him up when he's coming at the play with the foot.
All Australian last year. Walker comes in. Beautiful kick. What we expect from the big man from North Broken Hill. So the Crows get another. 4-7-31 puts them in front by a point. The Giants 5 straight 30 on ABC Sport. On the boundary is Liz Walsh.
As expected, Jordan Butts for the Crows has come to the bench. He looks okay though. He's actually just had a little bit of a cut on his right calf, kind of patched up by a trainer. He looks okay. Should be back out there soon.
Well, for Adelaide, they needed to start this quarter well, because the Giants were all over him. Kicked 4 in a row. Fogarty hits the post. Looks like Adelaide a little bit deflated. All of a sudden, they go whack, whack, and they are back in the game. But it takes their A-graders to put their hand up and say, no, we're going to wrestle this momentum back, and now they're in front. So well done to them.
Bobby Green and Tom Green in the middle for the Giants.
Second lead change of the night. Adelaide by 1. Berry gets it out of the centre bounce. Tackled by Toby Green, but hands it to Elliot Himmelberg. Up to half forward he goes for Adelaide. Murphy front position, had Perryman all over him. Free kick, takes the advantage. Runs to centre half forward. Long ball to the scoreboard. Fogarty has had the better of Aaliyah in the early stages of this contest. Knew exactly where that was dropping, and Aaliyah was panicking the moment it left Murphy's boot.
Again, they just played on quick from the free kick. Murphy, he just went and wheeled, played on, gives his forward a one-on-one.
It's a tight angle for Darcy Fogarty, only 5 out, but we'll have to hook it around the body on the left. Low, hard, snaps, finishes. The Fog's got his first, and Adelaide have 3 straight to go up by 7. 5-7-37 plays 5 straight 30. 14-minute mark of the second term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport over at the G. It's Essendon over Geelong by 6 midway through the second term.
And Buckley's doing a really good job on Taylor Walker at the moment. He'd possibly just think about changing them around at the minute too, or getting Himmelberg onto Fogarty. He's just been so good in the air. He's been allowed time to run and get up at it. Just block that away, but they are persevering. Fogarty starting from the square. On Lee Clear, still that one out. The rest are up around about that 35-40 metre mark.
The reason Adelaide are back in this game is nothing but contest. They are winning every one-on-one at the moment, and they are playing with fire when they get the footy. They go quick.
Giants go quickly forward out of the centre contest. Hamill picked it up. Severe hand pass though. Opportunity for Toby Green. Hand pass it wide for Daniels against the boundary line. Knocked over the line. And now we'll get a throw in 15 minutes into the second quarter and 25 around from the goal face for the Giants. In it comes Himmelberg, out muscled by Briggs. Came back though, smothered the ball off the boot. Got the ball himself. Tumbled it just about 5 metres forward. Rochelle knocked it out. Was taken by Laird, and then Walker bumped off one, gave a forward hand pass for Dawson. Hand passed in front of himself, went and got it again. Lear met him head on and took a good tackle to bring him down.
It was great footy. Great, hard, contested footy from both sides.
Crows by 7. Elliot Himmelberg battling with Briggs, who won the tap down for the Giants, but Cornelio's wrapped up by a couple, so we'll go again.
I'm certainly not a ruckman, Brogues. This is your area, but Himmelberg should just play off him a little bit, run and jump at the footy when Briggs is out muscling him underneath.
Well, you nailed it, Gemmo. You should have been a ruckman if that's the way you think, because that's exactly what Himmelberg should be doing. He should not be giving his back because Briggs is way too strong and throwing him out of the way. Briggs
down to Callahan, and the clearance goes the way of the Giants, only as far as Michael Annie, who's pushed over by Toby Green. Callahan's down behind player as he gathered the footy, and he had someone behind him, and I'm not sure he was coming the other way, but totally sandwiched and caught one high, so a little proppy and a bit sore.
He was sucking in the big ones about 5 minutes ago, actually, when he was on the boundary just having a breast.
Toss back in, tap down to Berry, treats back to Michael Annie, and around the body he hoists it through the outer wing. Clean bowls the pack. Harry Himmelberg at the back under pressure. Handball didn't go too far. Keys head over it, now wrapped up by Himmelberg. Ball up to come just wide of the logo. Adelaide by 7, Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Keys tempting the umpire there with maybe a descent rule. Anyway, umpire throws it up, belted forward for the Giants towards the boundary line. Tom Green knocked over by Rankin. Hand pass then by Rankin to Berry. High towards the boundary line, and it's floating over. Himmelberg did the smart thing and punched the ball into the crowd. Just to waste a few seconds. Ward with the free kick. Inboard straight away. Short pass. Finds Whitford.
8 frees apiece
Whitfield
for the game.
So Lockie Whitfield, the dual best and fairest, heaves it. That's a monster kick. High towards the 50 for the Giants. It nearly landed in the lap of Briggs, and he put it down. It was all alone. Grishevsky's front and square fumbled as well. And Adelaide can rebound with a bit of pace off half-back. Laird takes the advantage as Hinge was collected by Perryman. Got it off to Rankin. Down the line he goes. Fogarty. Bit of space to turn and slows things down because there wasn't a lot ahead of him. So everybody floods forward. He's in front of the Odie stand. Hard kick towards Walker. Sport away from him. Iden was waiting at the drop. Got it to Ward, and now around the body from Tom Green for the Giants. Lands in Grishevsky's palms as he clunks it in front of the Odie stand in his second game. 192 centimetre forward.
Timed it well.
Grishevsky looked around and eventually decided down the line was the way to go. Off hands and Hinge running through. Oh, he just streaked through about 4 players and then went back where the ball came to, and Fogarty pulled it in just before the line. No, couldn't complete the mark. Boundary umpire signals, let's throw it in. So it's about 60 from the goal face for Adelaide, out in the eastern side at right half forward.
Never question Mitch Hinge's intent when he gets hold of the footy or he goes at the football. His last two, very strong.
Himmelberg did well in the contest. Hinge got the ball, towed the ball forward. On the ground, well done by Ward, he was desperate. Tom Green got it. Just hand passed it into space after his first attempt. Disposal was smothered. Now it's with Dowling, who received from Rankin for Adelaide. Into the forward pocket. Walker stands under it and battles. And it's knocked over the line by Buckley. And he's worse for wear too, as Buckley is boundary umpire about to throw the ball in. It's only about 5 metres from the right hand behind post.
Crows by 7, approaching time on in the second term. Walker races in to contest with Briggs, buffets him off the ball drop. Berry now can race by, tried to snap and it ricocheted off the back of a Giants player. Himmelberg tried to slap it back to where it came from. Scholl was there to Walker, and Rochelle off a step. Showtime Rochelle with the new buzz. Strikes to put Adelaide up by 13. 6-7-43 to the Giants. 5 straight 30. Time on in the second term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Your experts, premiership players, Rod Jamieson and Dean Brogan.
Well, they're just out pressuring the Giants everywhere at the moment. Rankin is absolutely having a blinder of a game. You called it, Jamo. If you're the Giants, you've got to do something about him because he is smashing them at the moment. But they're just winning all one-on-ones. And you called it when Hinge got the footy then in the back half. Instead of going sideways, he went forward and tried to crash his way through the pack and forward. And even though he had a missed kick to the forward, it still went forward. So their metres gain is something that's through the roof tonight because it just shows their intent to get the ball going forward.
18 possessions for Rankin. Out of the middle, it'll go to Callaghan. He just streaks away off the left foot at the front end of the square. He hits it long towards the goal face. Off hands it comes. Hand pass out finds Kelly. Kelly then flicks it to Daniels. Daniels goes around a couple, then Kelly goes with his right foot. Snap to the top of the goal square. Keane came late for Adelaide. Knocked it into the forward pocket for the Giants, and out of bounds it'll be thrown in. Liz Walsh on the boundary.
Billy Dowling's just headed down into the rooms. He's come from the ground with a cut to his head. Looks like he might need some stitches. He's gone down with the doctor.
Crows by 13. Riverbank stand in, which is the Giants attacking 50. Right-hand side of your radio dial. Riccardi got it down to Toby Green. Kick smothered, falling into the footy. Saligo, wrapped up by Thomas. Ball up to come, 25 out. Justin Power handed the pill. He'll toss it into the air. O'Brien there. Won it down looking for Hinge, but 3 Giants around him. Kelly trying to wrench it out of there. Shot up towards Bedford. Knocked away from him to Cumming. Got it to Kelly. Fumbled like a bar of soap at the moment. Hinge finally uses Laird. Gets it out of defensive 50. Flying was Murphy, slipped through his grip. Dawson was there with the assist though. Worm burner up through centre wing on the broadcast side. Keys with a diving handball as he gathers, trying to release Rochelle. He had Brown to beat, or Iden rather, who was all over him. Bursting away, he was picked up by Daniels and he's caught by Keys. Free kick to the home side Adelaide. They're up by 13. They've got the last 4 on the trot. And everything's going their way.
Well, he made up for the little mishap. He should have actually allowed Rochelle just to run straight at it, go forward to goal, and Shepherd. Great tackle to win the footy back.
Keys short to Rankin. He goes back inboard to Hinge, who then plays on straight down the line, right at the top of the 50. Out wide, picked up by Murphy across the goal face. And back there was Callan Ward to take the defensive mark for the Giants. In the scoreboard pocket, he goes to Whitfield. Whitfield saying, come at me, I need somebody. Instead, he goes back towards the top of the goal square. Iden's there. He drops it in short to Perryman. Still their inside defensive 50, the Giants. Adelaide slowing them down, but here's a chance for Ash. He'll break outside defensive 50.
Ends long up the outer wing. They've got the outnumber, the Giants, but Keane did very well amongst them to get a fist down to Scholl. Keys hands it to Laird. He can wheel around Callaghan. Free at right half forward. High ball into the scoreboard pocket. Walker had 3 to beat. And Cumming got a fist in to smash it through for a minor score on the right-hand side. Adelaide by 14. Liz Walsh downstairs.
Good news for the Crows. Billy Dowling's come back out. He has had a little cut above his right eye. All patched up. Should be back on soon.
Just Laird, he just had to go to Himmelberg. He was 30 metres just inside the boundary line. Would have been the better option.
Ash delivered short to Whitfield. And then he hand passed it from his knees, having taken it. And down the ground went the kick. And Adelaide able to get it out of bounds. So Giants got it towards centre wing in the end.
Almost the same though, Crossy too. Caniglio and Hogan were over the back. The footy came over and ran out of bounds. Adelaide got out of jail then.
Riccardi in the ruck, opposed to O'Brien. Riccardi got it out. It's flicked forward by the Giants. It's found its way to Callanan. Breaks towards the 50. Shocking kick off the outside of the boot. And Scholl came across the defensive wingman from the eastern side of the ground. Sent it wide to Nankervis and back to Scholl. Oh, he goes to take off. Umpire said, no, that doesn't count, as he slipped on the surface. Now he's got a short pass to Hamill. And he's just outside defensive 50 at right half back.
Well, this is probably where Adelaide do need to take the sting out of it. You've got 4 minutes to go. You've had a great quarter. No more goals kicked again. So maybe you do slow it down a little bit now, Jamo, and play keepings off and take some time off the clock and take this lead into half-time.
Switch to Murray, little 1-2 with Michael Annie, and then hacks it up the spine, lands straight at centre half forward and bounces its way to Iden. Tried to give it off to Whitfield, and charging across was Murphy. Caught the stray boot, play on advantage. Rochelli's alone, 45 out, and he's burnt Walker.
Why wouldn't he give that to Walker?
He went for home and missed. He should have shared it. The Texans ropeable, and it's just behind for Adelaide, who are up by 15. They've kicked 6-9. To the Giants 5 straight.
God, he lets himself down with things like that. He really does, Jamo. I love the kid, but he had just a simple kick to Walker, and they've kicked another one.
Perryman plays on from the square and kicks long, and O'Brien says, I'll pick that one off. Now he's going to have a kick just for a change. Goes into the pocket looking for Walker. Pulled it down. He's wide out near the boundary, but this is certainly within his wheelhouse. The veteran goes back about 35 from goal, decides to play on. The umpire says that's okay, and all really low. Nobody on the line for the Giants. Nobody awake to what was happening, and Walker gets a goal. He did not strike that well at all, and the ball probably went within 50 centimetres of hitting the left post, but still got through. Walker has 2, Adelaide has 7. 7-9-51. Plays the Giants 5 straight 30, closing in on halftime, 26 minutes down on ABC Sport.
Well, he should have kicked the goal before, Jamo, when Rochelli should have handballed over the top and into an open goal. But the Giants are just off. How don't you have anybody on the line? Walker's 40 out in the pocket, and they're standing around with their hands on their knees, not watching the play. Walker's the smart one, plays on and kicks basically a grubber goal from 40 out. So well done, Adelaide.
Adelaide have dominated this quarter in every facet except for tackling, where the Giants are up by 2.
Crows with the last 5, up by 21, and they get the clearance through Barry towards Elliot Himmelberg, knocked away by Alier. He falls into the footy, the Giants defender, and on top of him, Lockie Murphy. They're begging for a free. It won't be paid.
15-8 inside 50s for a return of 5-goal 3 to only 1 goal in this quarter to the Giants.
35 out, Adelaide's 50. O'Brien wins it down. Rankin again. Swarms, snaps and goals. Oh, he's all class, Isaac Rankin. He's got 2. Adelaide have the last 6, and they're up by 27. 8-9-57 plays 5 straight 30 as we close in on halftime. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Just his ability again. We spoke, the irony of it, we've spoken so much around ruck craft leading into this game and throughout, but here he is doing it again. I think probably for the 4th time, where he just hits the right spot on the way through the contest, creates the space, no one's going with him. He's had 11 disposals in this second quarter, and he's kicked 2 goal 2, 7 score involvements. He's had an incredible first half.
He's an absolute freak, isn't he? What a player he is. This is probably his best game we've seen from him probably ever in an Adelaide uniform.
Goalless only once this season. Adelaide breaks through the middle again through Saligo, drops it in long. Himmelberg couldn't take it. It's out the back on, sliding in was Harry Himmelberg for the Giants. He gets a high tackle, says the umpire. Murphy, the man who came in on top of him. Oh, gee, was set up. All you had to do was make a good tackle. The umpire said it was too high. So Harry Himmelberg called a play on now. He's in trouble. Murphy comes at him again. Just couldn't get him. Gets the kick away from the defensive 50. O'Brien picks it off. Goes straight away. Hand pass over the top to Cook. Cook belts it long. Top of the square. There was Rankin. No, it's Fogarty. Rankin was at his feet. Fogarty took the strong mark, top of the square. He'll kick for his 2nd goal.
Well, they're doing everything I said for them not to do, and that's play on quick and shut the quarter down.
Fogarty with a goal. They've kicked 4 in time on in the second quarter, the Crows. And they stretch that margin. 9-9-63, plays 5 straight 30. Adelaide by 33 points. And we're closing in on half-time. We will get there, Brogues.
Well,
maybe there's another goal in it.
Well, it's really hard when your intent is to go all out, and that's obviously what the game plan has been this week. We're just going to take them on no matter what. It's really hard to pull back and go slow when you're in that mode. And even though we spoke about it, logic would say you shut the quarter down with 3 or 4 minutes to go, but no, they're just going for it. They are absolutely ripping it to shreds at the moment, and the Giants actually don't know what to do. They are shell-shocked at the moment. This is the best footy I've seen Adelaide play all year. Where's it been all year?
Crows by 33. The thoughts of Dean Brogan, Premiership ruckman. In the middle, Briggs down to Cornelio, lost his footing, but got a handball to Kelly. Now Tom Green, tumbling ball up through centre wing broadcast side. Daniels buffeted off it by Dawson, freed up Hamill, and he drives it hard up towards Murphy, directs traffic. Part of that expanded leadership group at the Crows that's driven a lot of scrutiny, but he's certainly happy to be a senior leader right now. Fans desperate for him to go. In the end, he just jams it up towards the 50. Pack crumples. At the back, Toby Green lost his footing. Saligo tackles him. He releases it to Rankin. Gives it to Rochelle. Bit wide for Fogarty, 30 out, and he's caught in the Cornelio tackle and gives it away. Saligo keeps fighting, though. Stripped him of it. Pinballing now, 25 out. Buckley flings it back to Harry Himmelberg, and the Giants get out of there. Tom Green with a long exit. It'll sit up at right half back. At front position was Briggs, who clunks the mark.
Well, the Giants had 20 players back in their back 50. That's how much under the pump they are.
Yeah.
Briggs goes inside to Whitfield. He flares to the eastern side of the ground. Ash with a mark. Hand pass to Buckley. Support there from Callahan. Callahan takes it. Drives it long to half forward. And a strong mark coming across the front from Dawson. And that'll do us. What a half from Adelaide. There were times they looked like they were under a lot of pressure, but in the end, they finished the quarter with 7 goals to 1. And at half-time, they've got a very handy 33-point lead. Adelaide 9-9-63. The Giants 5 straight 30.
And it's all the big names as well. The goal scorers, 2 to Rankin alongside 21 touches. His career best is 30, so he's well on track to breaking that. Fogarty's got 2. Walker's got 2 after missing the last fortnight with a back injury. Ben Keys has 2 and Rochelle has 1. For the Giants, all individual, Toby Green, Isaac Cumming, Josh Kelly, Jesse Hogan and Jake Riccardi. Half-time over at the G as well, and Essendon's 6-point lead has been reduced to 5 against Geelong. 7-3-45 to the Cats, 6-4-40. The text line if you want to get in touch, 0437 774 774. Premiership players, your experts tonight, Rod Jamieson, Dean Brogan, and gee, that was a hot finish from the Crows. Down by 12 at the 3-minute mark. They kicked the last 7 of that second quarter to be up by 33.
Yeah, played out of their skin, Adelaide too, and I think this is the frustration, isn't it, from all supporters or people that just love the game. When they watch Adelaide, they go, wow, where is this? And when you have a look at, like, the Giants have beaten Collingwood, Gold Coast, Brisbane, Geelong, Hawks and Port. Now, some of that might say, well, that's probably about right, but Adelaide just can't find that extra kick or that extra bit to get them over the top of the close ones they can't win, and they've blown a couple of big blowouts as well. But you know, the Giants are a seriously good side, and yes, there is it's pretty close at the top. We touched on it, you know, if you're in the top 8, you could end up 10th, 11th, 12th after this round particularly. But Adelaide, that's the style of football. And now we saw this against Sydney for 2.5 quarters. Don't worry. So the game is not done and dusted. And they are a quality side, the Giants, and we've seen in the way that they play. But that is almost the blueprint that Adelaide want to play. They short, 45 kick, hard go. Everyone's giving it to someone in a better position to actually keep the footy going forward. They have just slowed it down, transitioned at times.
Yep.
But the Giants, what they did in the first quarter, that's almost completely the opposite the way that they played in the second quarter.
Aaron, their ability to run tonight has been exceptional. Run to receive a handball, to break the lines. That's been the difference tonight. Like every time Big O'Brien's marked it tonight, someone's ran past for a handball. Every time someone's a free kick or it's been a one-on-one or they've taken a mark, they are wheeling and going or they're handballing for a handball receive. That's how you get balls inside 50 to kick goals and get easy shots for your forwards. It sounds easy from up here, and we go, why don't they do it every week? But it's a mindset. It's the players willing to be brave and willing to, when a team kicks 3 against you because you're playing that way, is to hold your nerve and stay at it. That's the difference. And like, if this is one of the best games we've called for Adelaide all year. This is unbelievable to watch, and the Giants actually don't know what to do.
Bigger picture. In the off-season, it was said last season, Crows maybe defensively had to just make a change, and that their offense was really good, or their attack, sorry, for those who don't like Americanisms. But this season, they seem to have overcorrected, maybe, and now they've gone back with, well, let's just go, boys.
Yeah,
is that the big picture?
It's when the pressure's off. Like, there's no pressure on Adelaide at the moment, so you play with a bit more freedom, okay? But it also helps when you've got a guy like Isaac Rankin playing the way he is, who sets the tone for that speed and that willingness to run. So he's been injured a bit this year, and he has had an indifferent sort of season. But when you play like this, you're going to get scored against. And the Giants did score 4 pretty easy goals against them. But big thing for me is hold your nerve and keep playing the way you want to play, because it'll work for you. And if you're going to go down swinging, taking on the game and playing quick. And I think Fogarty and Walker are pretty happy with this now, because they look like they're good again, because the ball's coming in so quick and they're having genuine one-on-one chances ahead of the footy, and that's all you can ask for. And this is what Adelaide was like last year. So whatever they've done in the mid-season break, they've obviously said that game plan out the window. This game plan is what we're going to focus on. And like you said, Crossy, they're going back to their one wood, and that is playing on and scoring and going as quickly, as humanly as possible, and getting into their forwards, because they are so dangerous when they play like this.
A week is such a long time in footy. 7 days ago, we were hearing Port Adelaide fans boo Ken Hinkley, and the Crows are just walking their way off and getting a standing ovation. It's amazing what can happen when you're playing good footy. So the Crows up by 33 at the major break, 9-9-63 to 5 straight 30. I do wonder, Brogues, as well, the criticism of O'Brien sent back to the twos. Matthew Nicks was pretty open that there was a reason he was sent back there, and he had something to work on, and he'd accomplished that. And I do wonder if it is the release of a running player and to actually give it off quickly. And clearly, he just looks like a totally different man to them.
Well, everyone needs a little kick up the bum sometimes, you know. Now, Riley probably didn't take his position for granted, but he got a whack. Go back. We're not happy with the way you're performing. We don't want... You're doing all right in the hit-outs, but we want you to do more. And look what it's done for him. Like tonight, he looks like a different player. So sometimes we all need, as humans, a bit of a kick up the bum and a bit of a reset. He's had a reset, and tonight he looks as sharp as anything, and he's looking like he's wanting to give it to bring in his to bring in his running players. He's trying to look for where are you when he takes a mark, or his hit outs and his follow ups. So he looks really sharp tonight. So, you know, every now and then you need to go back and have a bit of a reset and go again. So he's definitely looking like the number one ruckman should look like for the Adelaide Footy Club.
You occasionally get it wrong here, Aaron, and we give you a whack from time to time, and you're better for it. You are better for it.
Send me back to the sand.
Hey, I've had plenty of whacks. I've had plenty of whacks, Jomo.
I've had lots of whacks too.
I'm still getting whacked.
Thoughts of Premiership players, Rod Jamieson, Dean Brogan. We'll get stuck into the other game that's happening tonight over at the G, and what happened earlier today in the AFL, plus all the other codes in a moment's time. There's a lot happening in the sporting world, and ABC Sport and the ABC Listen app is your home of it all, including Wimbledon, which is coming up on Monday, and we'll have coverage of the entire tournament. Big thanks to the BBC for that through the tennis button on the ABC Listen app. Plenty still to come, so we'll wrap all that up in a moment on ABC Radio, News Radio, Sport Digital, and the ABC Listen app. But for now, at half-time with Adelaide up by 33, we can take the latest from the ABC newsroom.
Hello, this is ABC News with David Rowlands. The federal opposition says the government's energy bill relief package is papering over rising power prices. From Monday, the government's $300 rebate begins to flow to Australian households. Shadow Treasurer Angus Taylor says anything that helps Australians deal with cost of living pressure is welcome, but insists that more needs to be done to deal with rising energy prices.
Again, they're dealing with the symptoms of the problem and not the source. If you want to beat inflation, you've got to beat the source of the underlying problem, which is government failure, government policy failure.
The Prime Minister says it was not a government decision to award former Special Forces soldier Ben Roberts-Smith a commemorative medal from King Charles. Tabrak Al-Jaroud has more on this story.
It's understood Mr Roberts-Smith was welcomed into Western Australia's Government House on Thursday to receive the special honour, which is given to all living Victoria Cross recipients. It comes a year after a federal court judge found the former soldier was involved in the unlawful killings of 4 Afghan prisoners. Mr Roberts-Smith maintains his innocence. Meanwhile, Anthony Albanese has told Channel 9 the decision to recognise Mr Roberts-Smith was made by the King, not his government.
There's ongoing legal action potentially on these issues, so given the government's engagement, it's important that there not be interference in that.
WA's Government House has declined to comment.
Moderate candidate Masoud Pezeshkian appears to be extending his lead over his main hardline rival in counting in the presidential election in Iran. Larry Buttrose has more.
With around a third of votes now counted, he's polled 8.3 million. That's a lead of more than 1 million over hardliner Saeed Jalili, who now has just under 7.2 million. If no candidate secures 50% of ballots, there'll be a runoff election called between them. This election is being held to replace President Raisi, who died last month in a helicopter crash. The voting comes amid wider tensions in the Middle East over the Israel-Hamas war in Gaza.
Meantime, Iran's UN mission is warning Israel not to begin full-scale military operations against Hezbollah in Lebanon. The Iranian mission says that would lead to an obliterating war. In a post to social media, the mission says all options, including the full involvement of all resistant fronts, are on the table. Increased tensions and ongoing cross-border shelling has sparked fears of open warfare between Israel and Hezbollah. Astronauts on the International Space Station have been alerted over fears of space junk following the breakup of a defunct Russian satellite. US space agencies say the satellite was declared dead 2 years ago and has now broken up into more than 100 pieces of debris, adding to the mass of space junk already in orbit. Authorities are again warning people not to use outdoor heating appliances inside due to the risk of carbon monoxide poisoning. It comes after 3 adults and a child were hospitalised in Western Sydney from fumes from a charcoal barbecue. Fire and Rescue New South Wales Superintendent Tim Hasiotis says if inhaled, the toxic gas can remain in a person's system for up to 120 days.
The fumes that come out of especially the briquette barbecues, the heat beads that you see in all of the hardware stores, they produce huge volumes of carbon monoxide. So for this family, we have specialist gas detecting equipment. They monitor the atmosphere, and we were picking up 4 times the safe levels of carbon monoxide within that apartment.
New data from the Australian Bureau of Statistics shows that assaults, robberies and sexual assault are on the rise in Tasmania. Isabella Podwinski has the details.
According to the latest ABS data, last year more than 4,000 Tasmanians were assaulted, an increase of 8% from the previous year. A majority of victims identified as female, more than 2/3 knew the offender, and almost 50% of assaults were family and domestic violence related. Sexual assault is also on the rise, increasing by 2% on the previous year. 585 people said they experienced sexual assault in 2023, 86% were female, and more than half of them were under the age of 18. And 263 Tasmanians were victims of robbery, the highest recorded number in the 31 years of data collection.
And a Brazilian man has been recognised by the Guinness Book of World Records as the owner of the world's largest collection of soccer shirts. The 41-year-old has amassed more than 6,000 soccer shirts since he started collecting them over 20 years ago.
Wimbledon 2024 on ABC Sport. Hear it live every night on the ABC Listen app. Just search for the tennis button. This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Elliott Himmelberg up to half forward he goes for Adelaide. Murphy front position, had Perryman all over him. Free kick, takes the advantage, runs to centre half forward. Long ball to the scoreboard, Fogarty! He's had the better of Aaliyah in the early stages of this contest. Hook it around the body on the left, low, hard, snaps, finishes. The Fog's got his first.
Ruckman find it out. Briggs just knocked it down to Toby Green. His first kick of the night is a goal. Under pressure, quick snap, class finish.
Himmelberg tried to slap it back to where it came from. Scholl was there to Walker and Rochelli off a step. Showtime Rochelli with a new buzz.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
and on the ABC Listen app.
The Crows are back to their best, and it's left the Giants a little shell-shocked. We're so close to closing in on a spot in the top four, but it's falling away from their grasp. Adelaide 9-9-63, the Giants 5 straight 30, so a 7-goal-to-1 second term after the visitors led by 6 at quarter time. So quickly fell away from them. They're stuck in 8th at the moment on the live ladder, but they've still got Port Adelaide to play tomorrow against St Kilda, so they could actually drop out of the 8 by the end of the weekend, the Giants, if they cannot turn this around. Meanwhile, for the Crows, they've managed to jump out of the bottom 4 ahead of St Kilda, who again play tomorrow. So a lot on the line in terms of pride for the Crows, and it's starting to come together after a disappointing campaign. And the Giants just continue to look like a Jekyll and Hyde side who can't seem to put it together consistently across the campaign. Aaron Bryans and Neil Cross calling the action for you. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Your experts, premiership players, Rod Jamieson, Dean Brogan and Liz Walsh downstairs on the boundary. There is another game on at the MCG right now. Essendon lead Geelong by 5 points, 7-3-45 to 6-4-40. If you want to hear it, jump on the ABC Listen app and hit the AFL button. In terms of the leading possession getters so far in that game, Nick Martin has 17, Zach Merritt with 15 as well for the Bombers, Ollie Dempsey with 15 for the Cats. Goal scorers 2 to Wright and Stringer, singles to Neal, Merritt, Holmes, Hind, Resham, Duncan, Dempsey, Cameron and Bowes. So 5-point game. Essendon currently lead Geelong, and on that live ladder that we were just speaking about, Bombers in the top 2 obviously. They lost it to Carlton earlier in the round, but a win tonight would put them back in. And Geelong, meanwhile, currently sit a game out on the live ladder in 10th. Plenty of games earlier today. It's been a massive round of footy without Thursday nights. So convoluted is this fixture. We started with the Western Bulldogs and North Melbourne over at the Docklands. And the Dogs just hung on after a late surge from North Melbourne. They won by 17 points in the end. Marcus Bontempelli, I think he needs to cop a knock every week because he had the flu last week, back spasms this week, and he's backed it up with 35 touches after his flu game. So he's in ripping form despite all the issues around him. Cody Waitman had 3 goals as well, and Darcy Tucker cashed in on the absence of George Wardlaw. He had 30 for the Roos. Fremantle defeated Sydney by a point in an absolute thriller. They were actually the better side for the majority of the afternoon at the SCG, but the Swans came back late as they always do. Had a chance to win the game in the final moments. Logan McDonald after the siren, a kick from 50, and he missed absolutely everything. Fell short on a shank, caught the belly of the ball, and Fremantle hang on by a point. So Amos and Sturt kicked 3 goals for the Dockers. Luke Ryan had a day out across half-back with 26. Nick Blakey, the star for the Swans, 32 and a goal. The middle game saw the Suns roll Collingwood, so they continue that home streak where they've unbeaten at Carrara this season. 11 points over the Magpies in the end. Noah Anderson with 38. Ben King had 4 goals and Nick Dacos with 32 touches and 2 goals there. So the Suns continue their hunt for their first ever finals appearance with a home victory over the Magpies, and it again was a tight finish. Collingwood hit the front late and the Suns managed to wrench it right back. In the NRL today, the Warriors defeated the Broncos 32-16. The Knights defeated the Eels 34-26, and currently the Storm lead the Raiders 16-6 at the 56-minute mark. The Super Netball round 12 were halfway in. The Thunderbirds defeated the Vixens 73-58. That's a pretty big win for the Adelaide side. It should lock them into top 2. There's a couple of rounds to go, and the West Coast Fever are right behind them, but big win over the ladder-leading Vixens. And the Mavericks just got over the Lightning by a goal, 72-71. The text line, if you want to get in touch, 0437 774 774. Bill's done just that. He says the Giants' lazy defence issues continue. They're not standing the mark, even 70 metres out from goal. And it is certainly a contributing factor into why they're so hit and miss currently, GWS. But I thought with the big names coming back in Cornelio, Perryman and Cumming, and the latter two have actually been quite electric, mainly in the first quarter, disappeared a little bit in the second. But Stephen Cornelio certainly hasn't been as damaging as he can be, Brogues.
He hasn't. He looks like he needs the run, doesn't he? We've hardly called him. He's had 9. But a player of his calibre, you can tell he's had a bit of a layoff because the speed of the game is really quick tonight. If you don't have your legs underneath you tonight, you're going to get found out. And he hasn't looked anywhere near it in the first half. But look, to be fair, none of the Giants have really. I mean, Tom Green's getting it, which is what he does. He's around the footy and he gets his numbers. But like, I haven't really noticed anyone from the Giants like we normally would. Like, Kelly's been a bit quiet. Toby Green's had a moment in the forward line where he kicked a nice goal, but Daniel's just been quiet. Bedford's doing a run with roll. So their movers, Whitfield was really good in the first quarter, but he's been a little bit quieter in the second. So if you're the Giants, you have to probably break that tag now, and you've got to get Bedford into the game, because when the Giants are at their best, it's when Bedford and Daniels are getting up the ground and being that link-up player. But at the moment, they can't get any flow, because I reckon they're too worried about running around with Dawson and Rankin, and they're swapping half forward, and Bedford has to swap with a half back, and then they're all out at sea for me at the moment. And to Adelaide's credit, like, they just played some scintillating footy for particularly that quarter. And can they keep doing it? I mean, that's the big question we're all going to ask ourselves up here now, aren't we, Jamo? Is can they sustain it?
Yeah, well, that's right. So Green's still going to go in the middle here too. You got Bedford over to Rankin, and what Josh Kelly is going into the middle, where he's been spending time on the wing. I guess some of the concern, as it is for Adelaide for the Giants, when you look at this list of the Giants, Stephen Coniglio turns 31 later this year. Toby Green turns 31. Lockie Whitford is just about to turn 30. Callum Ward is 34. And then you keep going. Josh Kelly has just turned 29. Hogan will just... But there's an ageing list here happening, and they're going to have to regenerate it very quickly.
They look old tonight.
Out of the middle, first contest of the second half. Briggs is brought down by O'Brien. The two big men trundling after the ball. Forces a ball up. And O'Brien, no, it's Briggs that time. And Dawson, the recipient of the tap down, and he's grabbed immediately by Perryman. It looks like Bedford has Dawson again to start the second half. Neither ruckman touch it the second time. It came to Kelly. Couldn't get possession. Rankin does. Bursts out of the middle and then hooks it slightly, just enough to be a behind. From 40 metres, disappointing start to the second half for Rankin, who was electric in the first half. Adelaide's margin, 34 points.
He's kicked 2 goals, 3 too, just quietly as well. So he's absolutely murdering the Giants.
Quick exit from the Giants. Ash to Buckley, tried to get it towards Brown, and the kick was a little shallow. Elliot Himmelberg mops it up, but then gives it straight back. Cumming hacked it up through centre wing broadcast side, and lands in the lap of Mark Keane, who uses Lockie Scholl close to the bench and then swings it around to the attacking edge. Saligo gives it off to the charging Laird into the 50. Fogarty forced to spoil, did very well, knocked it straight to Rochelle, but off a step he's missed on the left-hand side. Minor score again, 9-11, 65. The Crows, they're up by 35 points. The Giants 5 straight 30.
18-8 inside 50s in that second quarter, and already Adelaide have gone in twice.
Whitfield goes short to Iden in the back pocket, goes long to centre wing, still hugging that boundary line and off the ruckman's hands. Briggs and O'Brien going at it and over the boundary line for the throw-in.
It's an excellent point about their window, Jamo, the Giants, because they've been around the mark for about 5 years now, and a prelim last year they lost by a point against Collingwood. It felt like they were so close, and they've fallen away a bit this year.
Yeah, well, Kieran Briggs is 24. He'll be 25 later this year, but their absolute Jets are getting a bit long in the tooth, and they've been stars for them.
Adelaide through Saligo, goes back inside forward 50, and Rochelle off the ground. It was heading towards goal, and Lekalia pulled it back in. There was good movement there from Walker, who was the one who kept the ball in the field of play as Aaliyah goes out to the eastern side with his kick.
Long ball, the players converge, off hands, spilled towards Green, waiting front and square. Pops it up towards centre wing. Bouncing ball a little wide of Toby Green. Will Hamill use the body. Gathered, put his head over it, trying to drive his way through Cornelio. Brought him to ground, holding the ball. Free kick to GWS in front of the Bashir stand. Through centre wing, and they're down by 35. Here is the man of the moment, Stephen Cornelio. Shoulder injury, round 11 against the Cats, and finally back into this lineup. Disposal 10 up towards Harry Himmelberg. In front of the Odie stand. Called to play on. He'll launch it. Into the pocket. Hogan's got 3 to beat, and Hinge, the ladder, backing up into him. Cut off his leading lane and a big fist over the line.
Well done. North American update, Stanley Cup. Panthers get up over the Oilers. And what about LeBron James's son?
Bronny?
He's been picked up in the draft. He's going to play basketball with his old man, bro.
Pick 55.
Different way to go about calling your son Junior. Just Bronny. Had a defensive 50. Adelaide Walker picked the ball up, been twisted around about 4 times. The umpire said holding the ball. Connor Iden got him. So he'll surrender it, and that's right on Crow's defensive 50. So attacking 50 for Iden. He's well away from where he normally stands, but he followed Walker all the way in.
Would you stand in front of LeBron James and just take the foul?
I wouldn't want to be Bronny if he played a bad game driving home from the Laker game on his first game.
Iden drops it just straight out in front of the goals. Off the hands it comes. And Cornelio with the sliced kick at goal for the minor point, or the minor score, the first point of the night for GWS. 5-1-31 trailing Adelaide. 9-11-65.
Get his son traded.
Gross move it to the outer side. Walker was the target, tapped it down. Charging by is Rochelle as he toes it with a worm burner up to left half forward. Fogarty caught behind earlier, buffeted it off him. Rankin can gather. Releases Dawson. Rochelle kept running. And a beautiful delivery to the young man. 35 out, tight in the pocket.
Well, great work rate by Rochelle. He's the one that socketed it from almost the halfway line here. He socketed it and he just put his head down, put the jets on and got inside 50. And guess who mops it up over on the far side there was Rankin to Dawson. And Dawson laces out Rochelle, gets rewarded for hard work and has a shot on goal.
Dawson's work rate too. And you have to be clean, otherwise that play just does not happen.
Rankin doesn't fumble too much, does he, Gemmo?
Starts in front of the Rashudo stand. Rochelle kicks from 45. Almost celebrated early, but it's floated across the face. A minor score on the right-hand side. Adelaide back up by 35. 5.5 into the third term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Lockie Whitfield stands and considers. Drops it in short. Too short to the umpire. Ash in trouble. Oh, and he's almost brought down as he hand passes in hope. Himmelberg there for Adelaide. Elliot Himmelberg knocks it away. Intercepted hand pass of Fogarty was taken by Tom Green and just drove it outside defensive 50. Off hands Berry for Adelaide. Forward hand pass. Found Scholl. Came from Hinge, and now it's with Rochelle across the goals with his kick. Keys couldn't take it. Callan Ward came late, knocked it through for the minor score. As was the case early, GWS under siege in their defensive 50, but Adelaide unable to kick goals.
I'll be happy to play it just in their forward half like they are at the moment, and it's just really negating any run from the Giants coming out of their defence.
14 of the last 15 scores have been Adelaide's way. They're up by 36.
Just stop-start. It's stagnant, and Adelaide will be happy to defend this way.
It's 22 scoring shots to 6. It's annihilation at the moment. The Giants don't look anywhere near it at the moment.
Margin doesn't quite reflect it yet due to the inaccuracy of the home side. But still, 6-goal deficit, you take it. They've switched to the broadcast wing, the Giants. So Whitfield used Iden, now Buckley bangs it up towards the logo. Everyone comes into the drop, and it's marked by Briggs amongst a flurry of players. No one really knew if it actually went in cleanly, but he's paid it. Squared it to Tom Green. Looks out wide towards Ward. Fisted away from him by Dowling. Racing onto it is Hamill. The out-of-contract defender uses Hinge. He's dancing past Toby Green. They're doing well under pressure. Little triangle work. Mike Lanny to Hamill and back to Hinge, who races up the boundary line. Long through centre wing. Kick wasn't great. Ash reels it in against Rochelle. Hands it to Aaliyah, trying to put on the Jets, but he's run down. Got a handball out late. Iden did well. Diving forward to release Whitfield. Then to Callahan, over the top to Thomas. Knew Michael Annie was coming, so he pounded it towards the 50. Charging onto it was Cornelio. Arches the back, sets sail. It was too low. And lands in the lap of the goalkeeper, Mark Keane. Thomas is down behind play because he ran straight into Michael Annie. We put him down, so trainers converge. He's a little winded. Meanwhile, Keane tries to exit to right half back.
Off hands, Perryman takes it. Back inside, 50 for the Giants. Ball falls over the back. Toby Green takes it, turns, top of the arc. He's found Whitfield. Whitfield goes into the pocket with a kick, and Keane's back there again.
He's back playing for Cork.
He is playing a goalkeeper then. Gaelic footy, in case you didn't know, does have a goalkeeper.
But it's only 5 degrees warmer here.
So Keane goes out to the eastern side looking for Walker. Got a hand on it. Off it went to Laird. He gave it up, and the ball tumbled forward. Picked up by the Giants. Inboard they go with a hand pass, or rather the kick to Thomas. And Thomas has the mark inside the centre square. Off his left foot, he goes long and high, and he looks for Hogan. And Butts knocked it down. Cornelio got it. Shrugged the tackle. Gave it off to Kelly. Classy left footer, finishes well. Kelly with his first multiple goal kicker for the Giants. Only their 6th of the night, 6-1-37. It's the first goal of the second half, and it's gone to the Giants. 6-1-37, Adelaide still in front, 9-13-67 after 9 minutes of the third term.
Well, Adelaide have had all the play, and it's always the way, isn't it? You have 4 shots, and 4 behinds for Adelaide have dominated so far this quarter, and the Giants get a couple of chances, and if the ball lands in Josh Kelly's hands, normally something good's going to happen, and does a little dummy, a little LeBron James sort of dummy in basketball terms, but onto his left and snaps a goal. But the game's definitely not over. But the Giants just need to get going, otherwise Adelaide are going to run away with this.
Crows by 30, tap down to Laird, who gives it off towards Saligo, thumps it towards the 50. Walker matching up with Buckley, got a hand on it, and it trickles to the boundary line and has scored it over. Bit of basketball on your mind, bro, because the former NBL champion.
You brought it up.
You've got the amazing resume, don't you? So former Giant player, Port Premiership Ruckman, NBL champion. You've got a bit of everything going for you.
A couple of Aussies did all right too in the draft, didn't they?
They did. Johnny Furphy picked up in the second round. Tossed back in. Tap towards Saligo. Hands it to Luke Nankervis. Around the body under pressure. Did his best to get it towards the arc. Was cut off there by Perryman but couldn't control it. Tom Green comes in. Diving handball towards Kelly. Did the same towards Riccardi. The chain finishes with Thomas, who loops it to himself, but it was a throw. And it'll come all the way back to Nankervis at right half forward. Adelaide by 30. The 16-gamer who's looked right at home in the 22 can send them inside 50. Nankervis drops it in short. Checked the kick up towards Fogarty on the charge. Couldn't control it against Aaliyah. Got a hand in. Knocked to Nankervis again. To Berry, then Laird. Screws it up towards the pack. Knocked away from O'Brien. Walker becomes the tackler on the drop. Stoppage in front of goal to come.
And Nankervis has the 27, and that's just one of those moments, Aaron, where we say, you are better than that.
Ball goes in the air. O'Brien the tap down. Walker quick hand pass, partially smothered. On the ground now. A lot of players over the ball. We get another ball up. Boys trying to control themselves again. On the ground, and GWS clear it out to the top of the 50. Hands and knee stuff from Laird. Got it to Michael Annie. Kick was low. It was touched. It got to O'Brien. One-handed hand pass. Surely that was illegal. Umpire said no. Berry burst through. Gave it to Murphy. Buffeted as he went to kick the ball. Now surrounded by 5 Giants was Fogarty when he received it. Umpire will call for another ball up. 35 out, still straight in front of the goals. Adelaide attacking at the Torrens into the ground.
That's a glorious hip and shoulder from Callum Brown. Just bowled over Murphy. Out of the stoppage, ball hit the deck, neither ruck, but a clean tap, and it's volleyed straight into the face of Laird. What a falcon. He keeps fighting anyway. Fogarty running out of room, did well in the pocket, hands it back to Rochelle, shrugged the tackle of Ash, snaps and hits the post. Oh, that was a highlight in the making. Minor score again for Adelaide, 9-14-68 to the Giants, 6-1-37. 12 into the third, Liz Walsh downstairs.
Just one to keep an eye on down here is Crows captain Jordan Dawson. He's emerged from that halftime break with strapping on his right calf. Physio's just been giving him a little bit of a massage while he's on the bench too.
Giants trying the tsunami from the back 50. They've coughed it up though. Berry takes it from Scholl. Inside 50 with his kick was Shelley. He's got a couple of targets inside, but he elects to hold on to it. He's kicked 3 behinds already in the quarter.
I think they put a burner underneath him at half-time. He's going for his 7th disposal.
Having a great quarter.
Yeah.
Now he's in the right forward pocket.
What's he going to do
and
here,
he's going to elect to go across his body with the left foot.
Why wouldn't you actually just...
He's missed everything with the right foot. And with the left foot, he's successful. Josh Rochelle with a goal. And Adelaide, after 5 consecutive behinds to start the second half, finally have a major on the board. It's a second for Rochelle. Adelaide, 10-14-74. Plays GWS 6-1-37. The Giants are only just hanging in there as we cross over the halfway mark of the third quarter.
Well, they're playing really strong contested football at the moment, Adelaide. 21-14 just in this quarter alone for contested work. Uncontested, they're a little ahead, but they're just getting the ground ball 16-10 and 10-5 inside 50s reflected for the 1-goal 5-1 in this third quarter.
And Jamo, it's their intent. They are at everything. They want to win every contest. And I'm Rochelle's biggest knocker, but I can tell you, if he keeps playing like this, we're going to see his full potential. This is the perfect game for him as a small forward. He's absolutely playing a blinder.
Adelaide by game high 37. Out of the centre bounce, Bedford fell into the footy and essentially waited for a free kick to be paid. It's ripped away from him. Went the Giants' way. Whitfield banged it up towards the 50. And off hands, it carries over the boundary line. Liz Walsh downstairs.
Everyone was so thrilled down here for Josh Rochelle. Even the doctor gave him a clap when he came from the ground.
So it's free kick in the end to Adelaide.
Well, it might be off the back of a couple of times where he's actually gone forward and chosen the goals where he's had better options that he didn't use.
Shoulder Rankin for disposal 24, and it's a good one. Finds his skipper in Dawson, forward of centre wing, broadcast side, wheels around on the left. Deep ball, Fogarty nearly clunked it. Late hand in from Alir. He keeps fighting. 2 fend-offs. Hands it off towards Murphy. Caught a stray arm high. He certainly milked it. Almost the back of his head. Little neck scratch there from Isaac Cumming, and Murphy was happy to fall to the deck. On hands and knees, will give it off to Dawson once again. Booming left boot. Up towards the top of the goal square. Juggling Iden couldn't control it. Keys got a handball back to Fogarty. Scholl now can hook it on the left. Up towards the top of the goal square. Iden's there again. Knocked it straight back to him. Tries for a second bite, but he's wrapped up this time. And a ball up to come, 25 out.
Even Fogarty's handball then, it looked like he was going to have a snap, but he saw someone in a better position and gave the handball, and that's when you know a team's really on, when they're given the first gives to an opponent in better position.
Briggs had the ruck all to himself and then virtually missed the ball. Himmelberg got it down to Keys in the end, and his snap for goal was right across the face and out on the full. We'll get down to Liz Walsh in just a moment as the Giants try and repel Adelaide's attack. It's Whitfield. He just drops it in short. They're going to slow things down. Liz, just for you.
Yeah, the Giants are using their sub now. They've pulled Toby McMullen into the game. Looks like Max Gruszewski is out.
Just the 2 touches for the second gamer, and now he's out of the game. And the ball makes its way to the broadcast wing before it's knocked over the line. So poor Max didn't get to follow up his 2-goal debut. McMullen's into the game.
Been in a pretty hot game too, so it's always good learning.
Tossed in. Briggs takes it out of the ruck against Elliot Himmelberg and launches a rocket towards the left forward pocket. So long that diving back, Keens hit the deck. Riccardi can compose himself and kick across the face. Tried to share it or go for home, didn't know what to do. Brown's done well to get it back out towards McMullen. then Toby Green to Ward, the veteran, steadies from 40 and finishes. Oh, it wasn't pretty, but Callan Ward capped it off with class. Down to 31 points again. 10-14-74 to the Giants, 7-1-43. 17 minutes into the third. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Your experts, premiership players, Rod Jamieson and Dean Brogan.
Well, Jamo, you called it earlier in the call. When Briggs is going against Himmelberg, it looks dangerous. Himmelberg seems to get front spot on him, and Briggs just pushes him out of the way. And that's how that goal started. It was a throw-in just in front of us, in front of the main stand, and Briggs just threw Himmelberg out of the way and launched the ball, caught it and launched it inside 50. If you're a second-string ruckman going against the top-line ruckman, you've got to come from behind and halve the contest. It's just too easy against Himmelberg at the moment when Briggs is in the ruck.
Out in the middle, it was Briggs who dominated the tap down, and then coming through was O'Brien, kicked it wide to the logo on centre wing on this broadcast side, and eventually they force a ball up. O'Brien got it down and wide. Good fake a couple of times there by Cumming, and then finally he launched into it down to half forward. Off hands, Daniels had a chance, and then Curvis took it away. Hinge's hand pass was bad, turned it over straight away through the Giants' hands. Daniels, then off to Kelly. Awkward kick inside 50, and Max Michaelani slipped and then stood up and took the mark and immediately flared it to Keys. He's on the eastern side of the ground and he's chosen to hold up.
Adelaide by 31 over at the G. Geelong have kicked the last 4 and now lead Essendon by 21.
I did not pick that.
Bombers' top 2 hopes in jeopardy there. If you do want to hear it, the ABC Listen app, your home of footy. Down the outer wing go Adelaide. Dawson strong in the air. Looking at the footy. Whitfield had his back to it. Didn't know what to do. Through centre wing, the skipper. The calf strapped. Long ball towards Walker. Fisted away from Himmelberg, or by Himmelberg late. Hits the deck. Here's Elliott Himmelberg. He can gather and give it off towards Laird, and the Crows run out of room over the boundary line.
Doctor's out with Jordan Dawson, just having a chat to him. Keys could have hit Himmelberg. He did all the hard work. He came from centre half forward if the kick was ready to go.
Ball back into play. O'Brien just flicked it down, did well. Cook slipped the hand pass to Dawson. He gave it to Laird inside forward 50. Rankin, oh, he went across the pack. Couldn't bring it down. Follows up on the ground, though. The Giants have it. Perryman eventually gets control. Hand pass forward for Bedford. Then wide he went to Kelly, forced to his non-preferred right foot down the line. Adelaide pushing the back. Riccardi got a little bit reckless there, and Keane takes the possession. Inside he goes to Dawson, just behind the logo, centre wing, eastern side. Dawson with a hand pass inboard. He missed his hand pass turnover. Here comes Daniels, who belts it long inside 50. Brown with the pace to get to it. Dropped it on the ground, socketed it, and only threw for a behind. Oh, when they open the book that says, how do you butcher a goal, that's going to be in there for sure.
Oh, that's the sort of night they're having, isn't it? He was absolutely naked, Brown, to mark that and just dropped it. Wow, that's not on the highlight reel for their highlight tapes, that's for sure. But Adelaide a little bit sloppy. They need to hang on here. Giants are coming a little bit. They just need to hang on, Adelaide. Got to get the three-quarter time with this lead.
Crows by 30, the long exit to the outer side, slipped out the back and Whitfield was waiting. Went centrally towards Daniels, but he lost his footing under pressure from Hamill. The Crows on the charge now, up to half forward. Rochelle battling with Harry Himmelberg. The Giant did well to slide in and tap it to Ash. Hollywood handball from Cumming releases Thomas. And up the broadcast wing he goes, swinging it towards the centre square. Strong mark from Bedford with Nankervis closing. Hands it to Tom Green, across half forward. Daniels from 55, spots Riccardi on the goal line. Sent it to him. Easy mark, straight in front. And Jack Riccardi has 2. Back down to a 24-point game. The Giants have a sniff. 10-14-74. Adelaide lead to GWS 8-2-50. Time on in the third. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
It might have been Bedford in the middle there that had to take the mark. I'm not quite sure if it was Scholl that was coming or Nankervis it was actually. He didn't take the contest, didn't take the ball. and they're able to move and work their way through the centre. Probably an extra handball. I thought Green could have actually just kept going too, but just returned really well. Just that kick, Rochelle losing his feet. And at the other end, Harry Himmelberg doing a great job to win the footy back for the Giants.
They're always going to come, the Giants, but you just feel a little bit of momentum starting to shift their way right now. And if you're Adelaide, you've got to stick to what's been working for you all night. You can't go into your shell now. You've got to keep playing the way that's got you this lead.
Won the past 4 against Adelaide, the Giants. Out of the middle, Adelaide eventually will get it at the back end of the square. It's with Cook. Crossed the body with a great kick.
What a kick.
He's found Murphy diving in, took the chest mark, quickly off to Dawson, and Dawson goes to the 50 with his kick. Rochelle couldn't take it. Keys just hand passed it 20 forward. And picking it up was Ward for the Giants. Immediately Berry got him. Ball still around the mark. And 5 players over it, and then finally the umpire says, give it to me. So it's about 35 or 40 metres around from the goal face in the left forward pocket for the Crows.
Love Sam Berry's game. I like the way he plays. He just loves getting dirty.
Tap down from Briggs, and then he toes it out of defensive 50. It'll roll towards the boundary line. They want deliberate. They're not going to get it. It's a really interesting one on Berry, Jamo. He's played 9 games this year, and 7 of them he's been either the sub or sub. So this is one of the rare full cracks he's getting to be an inside mid, which is supposed to be his role.
Well, I think he's really clean. I think he's, that big body mid, and he has been clean. And when he's able to do, tackles again there, turns the footy over.
O'Brien down to Cook. Quick kick inside 50. Rushed it up towards Elliot Himmelberg, who tackles his brother Harry. Spills out towards the Giants' advantage. Aaliyah to Ash, and now Callahan arches the back and puts on the Jets. Through the centre circle to Bedford. He can wheel around Hinge, doesn't know what to do, takes a bounce and then retreats. Tom Green sidesteps Hinge. Handball forward to Whitfield. Now they've got options who drive it towards the goal square. 2-on-2. Toby Green crashed. Jordan Dawson charged in. He's lost a boot in the process. Came out to Hamill and they're away, Adelaide.
Short to Himmelberg. Hamill just got it away before he was run down. And with a problem there is McMullen. May have just lost his shoe. I think he's okay now. Himmelberg, not a great kick, intercepted. He was looking for Fogarty. Kelly takes it, wants to get away. Now he does. Hand pass forward to Buckley inside 50. He goes long with the kick, high up and coming across, taking a strong mark. None other than the skipper Dawson for Adelaide. Goes to ground.
He's been good in the air tonight, Crossy, old Dawson. He's gone back behind the ball because he can sense the Giants are coming, but geez, he's been good in the air tonight.
Bont had 35 earlier today with back spasms, and Jordan Dawson's on one leg, and he's currently had 16 touches to be closed in towards three-quarter time. Crows by 24. They've moved it to the broadcast wing. Shull now to Nankervis, defensive edge.
Just under 2 minutes remaining.
Chips it to Berry, cashing in. Full game time tonight. At least so far, the sub hasn't been activated yet. Berry up to right half forward. 3-on-3 there. Fogarty caught behind Buckley, and the big fist knocks it over the line.
Yeah, the Giants in this third quarter, they've been inside forward 50 on 11 occasions for the 3-goal 2 and look dangerous and lots of space every time they have. Adelaide coming off 18 inside 50s in the second, 16 in this for the 1-goal 5. They just could have really iced the game.
Voice of Premiership Crow, Rod Jamieson out of the stoppage. Saligo to Shoal, quick entry. Harry Himmelberg got front position and brushes off his brother as he races across defensive 50. Little 1-2 with Ward. Harry Himmelberg through the outer side finds McMullen. Game number 9, the 19-year-old, but fresh off career best 16 touches last week. In front of the Williams stand. McMullen loads up with a long ball to the attacking edge.
Hogan comes late, takes a pack mark, does well. Now he turns around. Dawson's not on the mark, so he can't intercept for Adelaide. He goes straight across to Kelly. He's at left half forward. He goes into the forward pocket now with his kick, looking for Toby Green. Rises up, takes a strong mark under good pressure from Michael Annie. And Toby Green, you'd fancy his chances. He's an enormously skillful player.
Jesse Hogan's only had the 4 disposals. He's taken a good couple of marks, but that was a ripping kick straight across the ground.
Green plays on across the body, gets the belly of the ball.
Wow, you
and
don't see that
sends it Fortunately, it was touched by Hogan, but it's out the other side. Throw in the forward pocket.
He's just not himself, is he, Toby Green, this year? He would kick that 9 times out of 10, and he has missed everything. And the champion just hasn't been himself this year. And then tonight, he's doesn't even look like it.
Tossed in, Briggs edges O'Brien out of the ball drop and had a quick snap on goal, and the big man misses to the left-hand side. So Adelaide by 23 as we close in on three-quarter time. Toby Green, worst in the league for winning one-on-ones this season.
That's just an incredible stat, that one. Not sure what's going on with him this year.
So Adelaide will bring it back in front of the scoreboard, and that'll do us for three-quarters of footy. The Giants edging back into the game. They were down by 33 at halftime, and now it's 23 at three-quarter time. 10-14-74 plays 8-3-51. Goal scorers for the home side, all duos. So Keys with the double, Rochelle, Walker, Rankin and Fogarty all have 2 as well. The Giants, Riccardi and Kelly have 2. Singles to Toby Green, Ward, Cumming and Hogan. Over at the MCG, heading into three-quarter time there, and Geelong have burst away from the Bombers, up by 21. If you do want to hear it, jump on the ABC Listen app. Geelong 11-6-72 to Essendon's 8-3-51. Can the Giants close the gap and pull off a miraculous comeback? Down by 23 on ABC Radio, News Radio, Sport Digital and the ABC Listen app. This is Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
Wimbledon 2024 on ABC Sport. Hear it live every night on the ABC Listen app. Just search for the tennis button. This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Butts knocked it down. Canelio got it. Shrugged the tackle. Gave it off to Kelly. Classy left footer finish as well. Kelly with his second.
Brown's done well to get it back out towards McMullen. Then Toby Green to Ward, the veteran, steadies from 40 and finishes. Oh, it wasn't pretty. But Callum Ward capped it off with class.
Berry takes it from Scholl. Inside 50 with his kick was Shelley. He's got a couple of targets inside, but he elects to hold on to it. He's kicked 3 behinds already in the quarter. And with the left foot, he's successful. Joshua Shelley with a goal.
Strong mark from Bedford with Nankervis closing. Hands it to Tom Green. Across half forward. Daniels from 55. Spots Riccardi on the goal line. Easy mark. Straight in front. And Jack Riccardi has 2.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
After a run of 7 unanswered goals before the major break, the third quarter saw the Giants kick 3-1. The margin down to 23. Adelaide lead 10-14-74 to the Giants 8-3-51. It's been an awkward campaign for GWS. They won the first 5 on the trot. They lose tonight. They'll have won just 3 of their last 10. So what was supposed to be a chance in the top 4 could be them slipping out of the 8 by the end of the weekend. They've got to get it done, but they've got to close the gap. Down by 4 majors at the moment. Still plenty to play out. Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport. Aaron Bryans and Neil Cross calling it for you, and your experts to break it all down. Premiership stars Rod Jamieson and Dean Brogan.
Well, the Giants won the quarter, albeit Adelaide kicked 1 goal 5 to 3 goal through. So Adelaide had their chance. So they kicked straight at the game would be over, I would have thought. But the Giants won the quarter, and I thought the last sort of 6-7 minutes that the momentum sort of swung back their way a little bit. So it's not over yet, Jamo.
Well, I'm just going to jump in and say, I felt like they won, but this is what happened. 17 inside 50s Adelaide to 12, 11 clearances to 6 Adelaide. First possession 12-7 in favour of Adelaide, and hit us to advantage 4-1. So they actually did okay, but I felt exactly the same how you were thinking.
Yeah.
So,
it's not over.
It's not over yet.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I thought we were going down the boundary. Let's
do that. It's a nice little segue from Brogues. He's stealing my job. Liz Walsh downstairs.
Hello. Look, an exciting moment for the Adelaide Crows down here. Their sub, Zach Taylor, has just ripped off his training top. He's standing there, rubbing his hands together, trying to keep warm. about to have his debut game. Of course, he will get warm as soon as he runs out there. Just waiting to hear from the Crows and when the players break from their groups to actually be able to spy who he's coming in for.
Massive day for Zach Taylor, so the third Crow to debut this season. He's been in good form as well, so averaging 19 touches in the SANFL and fresh off 26 touches and a goal. They've been on the list for a while, Jamo. This is his third year at Adelaide, and now we get a chance to see what he has to offer.
Yeah, and I've heard a bit of commentary around Adelaide haven't really debuted many players, but if you go back in the last 3 years, they've debuted 21 players and another 3 again this year. So you've actually debuted an entire team across the last 4 years. So again, we talk about the older players integrating new, blooding new and giving them an opportunity. Look, I'm keen to see how he's going to go.
For those who just joined us as well, sorry, Brogues, Matt Skruszewski, we're going to get it out, but he has been subbed. So in his second game, didn't have many touches and was out by the end of the third quarter. So tactical sub, and it means that Toby McMullen's into the game.
Yeah, I was just going to say, look, the Giants are going to come. They're going to go for it. Their good players haven't played well tonight. Doesn't mean that they're not going to play well. They know how to win football games. They've been to war a lot, some of these boys. You know, they're older, as we've said, Jamo. They're in their 30s. They've seen a lot. They've been a lot. They would know it's not their night, but it could be their moment, and they know what they are capable of. Can Adelaide hold their nerve and keep playing the way they've been playing by taking on the game? Be bold, be exciting, be tough. Can they do it for another 30 minutes? Because you know the Giants are going to come hard.
Last week they were down by 58 against the Swans and kicked 8 of the last 10. They still lost, but very late charge.
Oh, look, we know they've got the running ability in here and the quality of player too, but I just watched one of Adelaide's greats, Ben Hart, who's now, I think, in the second year at the Giants, just have a chat to Finn Callahan and just looked as if he was imploring on him just to dig deep and get this orange tsunami up and about.
Quickly checking with Liz downstairs before the bounce.
Just confirming Braden Cook, he's been subbed out for the Crows, which gives Zach Taylor his first taste of AFL football.
Sam Berry survives as well. Adelaide by 23. Final term underway. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. O'Brien taps it down. Here's Taylor laying a tackle on a debut on Bedford. Spills out towards Cornelio. Entry for the Giants, and he's done it lace out to Riccardi. On the charge in the left pocket. Got there at the drop, about 40 out. Slight angle to the left.
12 seconds.
Well, we talked about how important centre bounce was pre-game, and we just saw then how important it is. Crows player falls over. Cornelio keeps his feet, laces out his forward.
Riccardi looking for his third. Heaves it. Starts left. Gets some jeers, and it won't come back. Minor score to kickstart the final term. Adelaide by 22. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
So it'll be Hinge to bring it in for Adelaide. Takes his time and flicks the left foot. Finds Rankin by himself yet again. Goes long looking for Elliot Himmelberg. Couldn't take it. His brother picks up, hand pass, gets it away to Whitfield inside 50 again. Keane, that time, man on man, body on body, was able to get rid of Riccardi and take the defensive mark for Adelaide. And he goes from the right back pocket to the left, finds Hamill, who plays on straight away, looking for Scholl down the line. Kelly knocked it away from him. Tom Green got the hand pass back. Callahan now goes inside 50 with a long left footer. Crows have numbers everywhere. They miss it. Hogan took it off the pack to Green. Toby Green to goal. Needs the bounce. Gets the bounce. 2 for Toby Green. And the orange tsunami is starting to whirl. GWS 9-4-58. Adelaide 10-14-74.
The same thing happened then, Crossy, as it did, I think, in that, what was it, the last quarter, the first quarter, late in the first, where you just had so many defenders from Adelaide just go up at the contest. Well, 4 or 5, even Nick Murray backed into it. And the rest of the Giants just stayed down, recovered quickly, ran forward, and you got players face on goal. And one of the most dangerous in Toby Green.
He's got that look in his eye, Toby Green, just watching the replay after he kicked that goal. I've seen that look a few times, and that means he is ready to launch. So here they come.
One of our smaller crowds this year at the Adelaide Oval, but good 80% of them would be nervous. Adelaide by 16, tapped down to Rankin under a bit of pressure. dropped it onto his bootlaces to the outer side. Charging across, Cumming used the body. Ricocheted to Tom Green and back to him. Coming up to left half forward. Bounces across Toby Green under pressure from Max Michaelani in engaging battle across the night as it rolls over the boundary line. Geelong by 27 at the MCG. Essendon are rolling over after the hot start.
What time are we in the last quarter?
Just started there, so if you want to hear it, the ABC Listen app, the AFL button.
Why would you?
I was going to say, don't
Stick
do that,
with us,
Gemma.
it's getting tight here.
We'll get better as a team.
Toss back in. O'Brien got front position at ricochet to the boundary line, and Hinge was happy to see it over. We had some time to reflect over the buys, Jammo. We've improved. We hope.
We have.
Let us know.
Please let us know.
Only if it's kind.
We're always open for free advice.
Always open for business. Off the ruck contest out on the eastern side, Riley O'Brien does the business, tackles Callahan. So ball goes in the air again. O'Brien with a tap down. Cumming couldn't get his kick away. Tom Green was in there and still being tackled and standing up, and the umpire said holding the ball. He went around the 360, did Cornelio, and the umpire said, well, that's good enough. Keys will take the free kick.
He hold the ball. Just almost turned the footy over, Adelaide.
Keys got to Dowling in the end, but it was treacherous. Up the outer wing he goes, clunked by Dawson, front position on Ward, turns, drives it into the 50. Fogarty uses the body, edged out Aaliyah, spills to the back, and Sean tumbles it through. Just like that, the free kick punishes the Giants. Adelaide up by 22. 11-14-80 to the Giants, 9-4-58. 5 minutes into the final term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Your experts, premiership players, Rod Jamieson, Dean Brogan.
Oh, it was the kick inside that I went, oh no, the Billy Dowling one too. They almost gave it up. The interception came, but Gordon Dawson, he'd have to be one of the best marks straight up off 2 feet, really just in that standing position, let alone he can mark when he does have space too.
Oh, and what makes it so hard is Bedford tried to tag him, so to speak, but he's so tall, so he just got him in the air. So Dawson's been unbelievable tonight. He's playing forward now, he was down back, he's in the midfield, he's been spectacular. He looks like he's on one leg as well.
Cornelio Sockers down to half forward, out of the centre for the Giants. Going back there was Hinge. Got a hand pass of sorts away in the direction of Michaelani, and very professionally he took the ball over the line. And not so professionally, Toby Green's getting a free kick because it was deemed insufficient intent. Toby Green to take the free kick. Hamill, by the way, has got a problem with his fingers as the ball goes forward in his direction. Over the back it falls, Adelaide with numbers. Hinge gives the hand pass off. Dowling's kick immediately smothered. And the Giants force a ball up in the right forward pocket. Crowd not happy with that out of bounds decision.
Oh, it's an appalling one. I see that one too. Toby Green's taken the contest. Max Michaelani actually had it in his hand, and through the contest it came out.
Oh, out of the contest, the ruck contest. Hogan just got a foot immediately to the ball and it scrubbed through for the minor score. It was very close. Must say, I think Will Hamill is struggling with a hand injury and he'd like to get off the ground. I don't think he can at the moment as Adelaide prepares to bring the ball back into play.
Keeps looking at the bench, doesn't he, Crossy? But he just can't get away from Thomas. Deep exit from Adelaide. They roll up at the drop and off hands it spills to Tom Green for the Giants. He'll use Whitfield. Hoists it back towards the arc and rising up his Hinge. Got away from Hogan. Interception for Adelaide. Uses Laird and now Rochelle. Sporting the buzz cut down the broadcast wing. Up towards Murphy, and Elliot Himmelberg's been left all alone. His brother forgot about him and he kicks it to him all alone. 30 out. Slight angle to the left. Big Elliot just floated away from his brother and got an easy delivery.
Well, Harry thought he could actually come forward. Lockie Murphy came off the bench and became that option player, and the kick was there. Harry thought, I'll have a go at him, and got caught in the middle of nowhere, which allowed then Lockie Murphy just the space to turn around onto his left.
So Elliot Himmelberg in a contract year. One of 2 Pros players who were part of the Giants Academy as well.
They've tried to acquire him maybe on a couple of occasions too.
His brother on the mark. Elliot Himmelberg comes in and misses. Left-hand side, keeps the game alive. Adelaide by 22. Liz Walsh downstairs.
Meanwhile, Hamels finally made it onto the benches and is in the hands of physios. You're right, he's got a problem with his left hand. I'm keeping a close eye on it.
Well, I think it was in 2015. Adelaide actually bid on Harry because he was hidden in the academy, I think, at that particular time.
Ash brings the ball in.
So they had to pull him out a little bit earlier, Crossy.
So the mark taken by Thomas goes into the centre square. Hogan distributes straight away to Tom Green by hand, and then Tom Green across the square to the other side, coming with the mark, drops it over the top. Daniels is there, plays on straight away, dobs the ball inside 50. Oh, Keane dropped the mark he should have taken. Adelaide forced the ball wide now for Keane, gave it off by hand to Dowling, in the tackle back to Keane. Finally they clear the area. It'll probably come back again. It will. It's Harry Himmelberg taking the mark close to the boundary line.
They've seriously pushed down the Giants, haven't they? They've really squeezed up.
Himmelberg shares it with Iden. Front of centre wing on the outer side. Chisels it up towards Ash, attacking edge, and he'll race around. Nankervis on the mark, just kept going. Long into the 50, floating across was Dowling, hits the deck, butts as well. Collapsed, Dawson with a diving handball. Nankervis is there, tries to use Hinge. He's bowled over by Thomas. Ward can gather, 35 out, tight angle. Uses Perryman, screws it towards Hogan. Had a couple to beat, stuck his hands in the air in hope, and managed to stick. Big Jesse, 15 out, 45-degree angle to the right.
Well, you called it, Jamo. They are squeezing the ground. They're sensing some urgency. The time is now for them. They've got to get going. And you can sense it. They are coming really hard.
Jesse Hogan to break the game open. Twinkle toes. It won't impact his shot. Strikes true. And Hogan has two. Adelaide up by 16 now. 11-15-81 to the Giants. 10-5-65. 10 minutes into the final term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Liz Walsh downstairs.
Will Hamels just had a couple of his fingers strapped together, so he's all right to go, and back out he goes now.
A cold night, trying to keep the circulation.
Nothing worse. Nothing worse. Look, it's 16 points, and Adelaide just feel like they're hanging on. They're not playing with much freedom, although the Giants, have obviously stepped up and have had a lot of the footy this quarter, but it's just in the back 50 then. They tried to handball out, whereas you've just got to get it out of your danger zone in your back 50, and the pressure's coming in. Can Adelaide hold on?
And we've got to look at the Gold Coast Collingwood game, don't you, too, where Collingwood came. We know they did, but Gold Coast were able to keep attacking.
Dawson out of the centre for Adelaide, roved off the pack brilliantly by Murphy. Keys over the top, Fogarty goal, walked into goal, and back in the middle. Cornelio's gone down. He thought he'd done his shoulder, I think, but the news for Adelaide is all good. Fogarty with his third of the night. Adelaide steadies 12-15-87. The Giants 10-5-65, 11 minutes down in the final quarter on ABC Sport. Your experts, Rod Jamieson and Dean Brogan.
That was the response Adelaide had to give, wasn't it, too? You cannot defend a 3 or 4 goal lead particularly. There's still 13 minutes remaining in this last quarter. We've spoken about how good the Giants are, their running ability, they're getting it forward, and it's 7-3 inside 50s in this last quarter alone, Giants way. They know that they can actually run and run over the top.
So Cornelio stays out there. Adelaide by 22. In the middle, comes out towards Dawson. Another entry for him. Pushed as he kicked it, so it'll roll towards the paint. And over the line. We toss back into play. Over at the G, Geelong by 27 over Essendon. 10-minute mark of the final term.
That'd be a big win for the Cats if they get over the Bombers.
Build some momentum again after a disappointing month. Toss back in. O'Brien down, found Ward, he was caught high. Zach Taylor, the debutant, sticking an arm over the shoulder.
Not a bad job for your first game. I want you to pick up Cullen Ward, please.
Hasn't had a touch yet, young Zach, but been injected into a few stoppages and centre bounces. Ward shares it with Ash. And 5 weeks away with a calf injury, but settling back into the lineup. Delicate kick up towards Whitfield. Hands it off to Tom Green. And Tunneler that's hard and low. Skittles its way towards Brown, who's dodging past Butts. He'll release Thomas. Booming kick. Hogan outnumbered. Brought it to ground. Charging by McMullen. Edged away by Murray. Handball came to Cornelio. Brought down by Hamill. The desperation. And then the pirouette from Hinge. His handball wasn't clean to Dowling though. Lost his footing. Ball still in play. Daniels has a couple to beat. Powdered it straight back to Hinge for Adelaide. And they've got the numbers. Soligo to Keys. And he scrubs it out of defensive 50.
Iden has it. Immediately the hand pass over the top. Found Briggs. Off to Whitfield. Steadies. Draws. Give it to Callaghan. Callaghan gave it to Thomas. Then it went off to Tom Green. Tom Green steps inside 50. Goes bang. It's into the pocket. And out on the full, said the boundary umpire. It hit the post. So it's in the left forward pocket, the right defensive pocket for Adelaide. And Murray will take the free kick. Blessed relief for the Crows. Crowd just tensing up a bit. 22 the margin in favour of the home team.
Their hands are clean, the Giants.
Murray winds up. Walker with a sit over the pack. Took out Fogarty. Spills to the back and the Giants keep going. Through the outer wing. Taylor can gather. Spots Murphy on the charge. Perfectly weighted and he reels it in. That's what you want to see from the debutant. Delivered in a big moment. And now all Lockie Murphy has to do is close the gate shut.
That's a great kick. He did not have to break stride, Lockie Murphy. That's a really tough kick from the first gamer. To put it in front of Murphy, running inside 50, he did not break stride. Great. Oh, is that his first possession?
First kick.
What a great start to your career.
And had to get it over a defender too.
Murphy comes in. Clutch moment. And he fails to cash in. This is on the left-hand side. Adelaide by 23. We've still got 10 minutes to go. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Giants quick to bring it in. They get it to Ward. He's at half back on this broadcast side. Ward goes inboard with his kick. Taking chances now. Callanan got away from Soligo. Took the mark just near the centre circles. Plays on. Goes wide. Very, very wide. Tracking the ball over there. McMullen towards the boundary. Just gets it inside the boundary. Down to half forward. His kick was pretty good. And taking the mark there, coming. His first game for the season after injury. He plays on. Some 80 from goal. Goes into the pocket. And leading up was Hogan unopposed. Took the chest mark. He's about 10 metres in from the pocket. And he'll back over the boundary line and kick from maybe 30, 35 out.
I think Hinge slipped over, or Murray slipped. Someone slipped over, which allowed Hogan to pretty much, like you call Crossy, have an uncontested. I think Nick Murray slipped over, and crucial time to slip over.
Here comes Hogan. Goes with a drop punt from the pocket. Skip, skip, skip. Off the outside of the boot, right across the face, and through for the minus score. 22 the margin. Adelaide clinging on in some ways.
Tom Green watch at the moment. He's had a pretty impressive night. 36 touches.
He's been good.
Career best is 39. Still plenty of time to go as Hinge heads up the broadcast wing. Awful kick. Straight down the throat of Connor Iden, who gives it off to Whitfield. Speaking of, he gives it away. Drilled it straight to the Crows in the centre square. And here they come up the spine. Smashed forward by Taylor, hitting Hope. Dowling's on the chase, but Alir will beat him to it. And the South Australian sends it up to right half back. Straight to Hamill. Here they come. He hands it to Soligo. Lowers the eyes. Beautiful delivery. And he serves it up to young Dowling, who takes it 25 out, tight angle to the left.
Well, I thought Lee Alir actually did the right thing too. He just took it up, clean, under pressure. But in the end, it was Hamill who was just too good in the one-on-one contest to win the footy back.
His extended family would be stoked. His uncles are Crows fans, Lecalier, after they grew up in Anglevale. Dowling opens the angle, curling it magnificently. And with 8 minutes to go, the Crows faithful might just think they're home. 28 points the margin. 13-16-94 to the Giants, 10-6-66. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Your experts, Premiership players, Rod Jamieson, Dean Brogan.
I tell you what's good about that last passage of play for Adelaide was all their kids, wasn't it? It was Taylor. He just torped it inside 50. And I don't mind that, Jamo, because all your players are pressing forward, and you're right, Aliir did the right thing, but he had nothing to kick to. He had a one-on-one out in the wing.
And he was seriously deep.
Because Adelaide just pushed so hard inside to squeeze the ground and squeeze it up. And Hamill wins the one-on-one, gives the hand straight away, and then it hits Dowling. Someone hit Dowling with a little 15-metre kick. Just brilliant to see from Adelaide's youngsters, and that's the future of the footy club right there.
And the champion old-timer of the football club, Laird, gets the centre break, sends it down forward for Adelaide. Ash gets a hand pass away for Whitfield, and against the boundary line, Callaghan goes forward with his hand pass. Laird was in there to stop it again, and it's just inside the boundary line. It's a throw-up, signals the umpire, so the two ruckmen come in close.
Tackling pressure, Crossy, in this quarter, 10-2 in favour of Adelaide.
Off the ruck contest, the hand pass came back from the Giants down the line, and Adelaide forces a ball up again. Keys heavily involved again.
Pressure across the 3.5 quarters, nearly 4 quarters from Adelaide. They probably missed for about 10 minutes. The rest of the night, it's been as good as it's been.
Briggs down to Keys, who was caught in a quick tackle and tried to fend off while stuck in it. Brought to ground, holding the ball. Free kick, Josh Kelly. And a plethora of Giant stars who've missed a few games through injury and just starting to find some form again. Uses Buckley and now Whitfield. Disposal 37 incoming. Kicks it off to Aliir. And now Ash can turn and go on the logo outer side. Spots a target at half forward. Delivers back to Kelly. Too far out to score, so he runs around from Michael Annie, charges to 50, eyes the big sticks, it's across the face, hits the pack. At the ball drop, Adelaide's waiting. Scholl backing up in the left back pocket. Around the body, just hooks it straight towards Toby Green. Panicked a little bit, rushed the exit, and the skipper has it for the Giants. Tight angle, 55 out. Doesn't look confident. They're down by 28.
Almost the one Lockie Scholl.
Green squares it and finds Callan Ward, the inaugural skipper. 45 out slide angle to the right.
He could have done more with that, Aaron, too. Like, he actually came around, he won the footy, got the handball, and he thought, I'm going to go down the line. It was 2-on-1. He just had to boot it, like 40 or 50. That's the time where you have to and just get it as far out as your defensive area as possible.
So Callan Ward looking for his second of the night. The veteran needs to deliver and just sneaks it in. He's got 2, and the crowd has 0 support as a response. 22 points the margin. Adelaide 13-16-94. The Giants 11-6-72. Time on in the final term, but it's not done yet. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
I don't mind orange as a colour.
That's a great strip. I used to love wearing it. They've got a grey one that looks good too, grey and orange. But you're right, Jamo. He just tried to pinpoint that pass in his back 50. When you're in your back 50, especially as deep as what you are, you've got to, like you said, just thump the ball out of there. Get it 50 metres out of your territory. But what he tried to do is just, I think it was Scholl, was it? He just tried to pinpoint a leader, a 50-50, and it didn't work. And Toby Green got it and hits Callan Ward for a 15-metre kick.
Briggs out of the middle, good tap, but Tom Green couldn't get it because Dawson did. And he went to centre half forward, and the Himmelberg boys clash, and it's Elliott comes up trumps into the pocket with his kick. Just carries over Lecalier or through his hands into the pocket. Cumming comes out, shares a hand pass. Walker takes it away. He gets a hand pass to Berry. Berry steps towards goal, tackled as he kicked. Across the goal face, Kelly fighting hard with Scholl. And they get it towards the boundary line, or rather Scholl, I think, was more interested in the boundary line perhaps than Kelly. But it's over, and we'll get a throw in. 22 down in the final quarter, and 22 the margin in favour of the Crows.
Taylor Walker, the 34-year-old, thought he was 18. Just the way he just took on 3 or 4 of them.
Barging his way through. Toss back in. Briggs tapped it down. Trying to reel it in was Kelly, towed away by Rankin. Harry Himmelberg thrust the handball out, extracting it to Whitfield, and across defensive 50 to Ward.
38 disposals, Lockie Whitfield. Make it 39.
Up to the outer side, he marks. Career best is 42, so keep an eye out. Cross half back he goes to Ash, who hands it off towards Perryman. Defensive edge, back to Ash. They've got the outnumber on Rankin, who just keeps fighting. Ash in the end has to move it up to half forward. And only finds Zach Taylor sliding in front of Bedford. He's negated him a bit in this final quarter. He sends it to left half back to Keane. Looks like game, set, match at the MCG. Geelong up by 40 ahead of the final siren against Essendon.
Dawson directing traffic, having received the short pass on this broadcast side of the ground. Finally forced to go long again. It's Elliot. Himmelberg couldn't pull it in. His brother Harry picks it up. He's dropped in a tackle. Elliot takes the ball, kicks it inside. He was in a tackle when he did it. As a result, Callaghan took it away. Now it's with Daniels. Hand pass over the top. Callaghan again has got it inside the centre square. Legged, said the umpire. Desperation there from Taylor. Just slowed the Giants down briefly. Ball flared wide from Callanan out in the direction of Ward, and then he goes long with his kick. Standing under it, Cornelio. That'll test his shoulder again. Thumped over the boundary line by Butts, who came, mate. Absolutely cracked. In fact, it was Murray who did it.
He's a brute.
He's even more solid.
Coming back from an ACL, third or fourth game?
Oh, that's the last thing you want.
And he loves the contest.
Corky for Cogs as it's tossed back in. O'Brien to Dowling. Scrambles the kick up to half forward. Rochelle marks just inside the square. Wants to hold things up as he points to the sky and then launches it in the direction of Scholl. He edged off Kelly, who I reckon just lost his feet, but they've paid, I guess, an impeding free kick his way. He kind of edged him in the side, so the Giants get away with one. Down by 22. Running out of time here at the Adelaide Oval. Left half back, they have the footy.
Isaac Rankin had 21 disposals in the first half. He's only just sitting at 5 for the second.
Ward to Iden and now Aaliyah. The Giants staring down a 7th loss in their last 10 games, and they'll drop out of the 8. Aaliyah through centre wing. Rising McMullen couldn't claim it. Spilled down, tackle late on Kelly. Coughed it up. Then McMullen rips it away. Drives it into the 50, just wide of Toby Green. Hogan becomes the tackler at the back on Butts. Ball up, 35 out.
That with the Rankin thing, that would just be a fitness thing. He's missed that missed numerous weeks with the hamstring, but it just gives you a snippet of what he's going to be capable of a couple of pre-seasons away, or maybe next pre-season away as a full-time mid. He's going to be absolutely that'll get to 40s.
O'Brien tapped down, Berry cleared the area. Giants can finally, through Kelly, get a clean possession. Non-preferred right foot went inside, and Toby Green was there, right on 50.
How classy was that?
He was he's at right half forward. And Rankin was very clever. He's staying behind Toby Green, saying there's a player there, forcing Perryman to move away. Toby Green goes, bang! He didn't need anybody else. He just did it himself. Long bomb from Toby Green. And the Giants just sneak a little closer, 12-6, 78. Adelaide 13-16, 94. And we've most crucially got to the 26-minute mark of the final term.
There's just over 2 minutes remaining and they need 3 goals. You think the margin might just be enough in the way that Adelaide have been able to negate but also score after the Giants had. And here we are in this last quarter. A 4-goal 3. The Giants to 3-goal 2, reasonably even, with just over 2 minutes remaining.
Can they pull off a miracle? They fell short against the Swans last week, despite the late surge. 16 points Adelaide's lead. O'Brien wins it down. Saligo's there. Bedford pounces, wrapped him up, dropped the footy. Fans unhappy that Saligo, the tackle lingered. Whitfield can gather and give it off towards Daniels. Inside 50, Hogan with the mismatch. Coming across Keane with the big fist and knocks it into the fence.
Can appreciate there's been a couple of threes that actually where the ump or the crowd has actually been, like that one particularly there, Saligo
That would have been a harsh free kick if it was paid, I reckon.
He didn't have the footy.
But it wasn't a full tackle. He just kind of pressured him. Tossed in.
I'll get better.
Cleared both runs. Keys at the back. Head over the footy. Saligo couldn't gather. Rochelle brushes a couple. Gets the exit to the broadcast swing. A hit and hope, and it's out on the full. It's always tricky with feedback when Fran from Melbourne isn't listening because she's got the other game on, so our biggest supporter isn't pumping us up, Jamo. The Giants move it. Aaliyah to Whitfield. Now Daniels into the 50. They've got to get a mark here. Hogan had 4 to beat. Hits the ground and he becomes the tackler top of the goal square. Adelaide by 16. Clock running down.
Umpire throws the ball in the air. Briggs negated by O'Brien that time. Hamill took it. Toby Green got him. Tackled him. Forced another ball up. 28 and a half minutes ticking on. Adelaide by 16 points. Ball in the air again. Briggs' tap down was beautiful. Daniels couldn't break away. Adelaide did well to contain him. Forced to release it towards the boundary line and over in the left forward pocket for the Giants.
That was impressive, Brent Daniels. And at this point, you just got to run at the boundary throw and at the contest. Stick your head over the footy. There's every chance you'll end up with a free.
Tossed in. Briggs tried to shepherd O'Brien, who just kept charging but got there a little late. Bounced towards Cornelio, missed his boot. Bursting through as a bulldozer. Green didn't have the weight to get through. He runs into a wall. Ball up, 20 out.
Yeah, the good players continue to do it.
Ball goes in the air again. Hannaby Dowling for Adelaide just cleared it quickly towards the boundary. Perryman intercepts it. Ward tries to get one to Callanan successfully. Iden was there as well. They belted into the forward pocket. Here comes Murray. Nice little hand pass. Saligo gets a 1-2. Opportunity to steady. Great kick. Just dropped it over the top. And Rankin says, that'll do. Let's hold it up. He goes back with his kick. Adelaide surely now will wind down the clock.
A bit of biff on behind play. Now they separate.
To Dowling and then Murray. I reckon Toby Green was in the middle of all of that, Jamo.
What about then? Nick Murray came flying out and Tom Green just really poleaxed him.
It's the biggest kick of the night from Murray. Above the highest seat in the stadium. Drops down. Iden there, gives it off to Bedford. Surging away from the pack. Heads into the 50, Dawson. He's been the brick wall. The pillar all night of their defence. His kick went to 2 Crows players who converged. They collided, but Nankervis strong enough to hold it. That was a bit treacherous. And Adelaide lifts itself off the canvas to KO the Giants. They have their first win in a month and knock GWS out of the 8. They win by 16. They had the hot start, the Crows, the first 2 through Ben Keys before conceding 5 unanswered to the Giants, down by 12. They lifted, kicking 7 unanswered, up by 33 at the break, 23 at three-quarter time, and hanging on to win by 16. 13-16, 94 to the Giants, 12-6, 78. It was the perfect response to 14 days of analysis. Adelaide bounces back off the bye with its 5th victory of the campaign, and the Giants drop out of the 8 with their 7th loss of season 2024. It was led by Darcy Fogarty with 3 and Isaac Rankin, who had 27 touches and 2 goals. Tex had 2, as did Rochelle and Keys, and singles to Scholl and Dowling for the Giants. And Another disappointing performance. Some big performances from Whitfield with 41 touches and Tom Green with 38, both falling one shy of their career best. Toby Green had 3, 2 to Ward, Kelly, Hogan, Riccardi, and a single to Isaac Cumming. The big names all back in, but in the end, Adam Kingsley's men fall short on the road once again. Adelaide winners by 16. We're with you through till 10:30 local time, so a good 45 minutes plus to wrap things up. Over at the MCG as well, final siren there, and Geelong winners by 45 points over the Bombers. 16-9, 105 to Essendon's 9-6-60.
Giants leaving the stadium, or leaving the ground now, but they were held up by the Himmelbergs, talking to each other.
Yep.
And also the 2 Irishmen in Brown and Keane spending some time together, just catching up as well. Obviously, if we look at that, Callum Brown from Derry and Mark Keane from Adelaide, originally from Cork. So they're having a bit of a chat as well. But now the Giants leave the stadium, and the Crows, there's got to be an enormous relief for players, staff, coaches, all of the above for the Crows.
Sets them up for a big month ahead. They've got the Lions away next weekend, the Saints, the Bombers and the Hawks. So difficult month, but a bit of momentum out of this one. The Giants, meanwhile, this season in a bit of limbo. Carlton to come. They've got Melbourne as part of that next 4 as well, and the Suns. It's a really treacherous run home for them, where essentially I reckon 7 of their last 8 are teams fighting for a spot in the finals. So frustration for Adam Kingsley, but all joy here at the Adelaide Oval. Jamo, Adelaide back on the board.
Yeah, look, it was a great win, wasn't it, too? They're going to reflect on that and just go how good they were, particularly in that first half. And Isaac Rankin was absolutely clearly to blame. He got them going with the speed. Jordan Dawson throughout. Thought the defence overall was really good. I thought Max Michelini, in terms of his overall job on Toby Green, was very good in the way that he managed and played him. We know he's just such a talent. We knew at some point Toby Green would get a goal. In fact, he ended up with 3 and was always dangerous. Thought Jesse Hogan presented occasionally but didn't have the impact. Riccardi at times did the same, but they just couldn't find the avenues on a consistent basis to be able to score. But they were probably more efficient when they ended up going inside forward 50. Adelaide could have really blown the game away just with, I guess, their inefficiency, particularly in the third. 1 goal, 5 that was 2, and there was no rush behind. There were a number of times where players, Rochelle highlighted how he could have gone and done the better option or chosen the better option and didn't want it alone. But overall, I think Adelaide would be really impressed with the night. Riley O'Brien come back in, Keane in the back line, so right across all areas, they'd be really happy.
Yeah, they were fantastic. I'm just looking at the stats board. They've had a really good even spread tonight. And, guys like Keys, that's his best game he's had in a long time. 21 disposals, 10 score involvements, 2 goals, 1, and just his work rate. That's a great Ben Keys game.
8 tackles.
Berry, he only had 21 possessions, but every one of his possessions you noticed. And he just complements that midfield. And like you said, Jamie, he's tough and he likes to get dirty. So he gets to go. Rochelle, that's his best game in a long time as a forward. So he's got his craft right. 2 goals, 4. His work rate was sensational. But, Hinge, we don't speak enough about Mitch Hinge. When he plays like that, he's almost one of the best halfbacks in the game.
Well, I love the way he plays, and I always have. And when he came on, he certainly first played here, and he did his collarbone. And I keep referring to that. He did it, came off, strapped it up, went back out, did it again. And he just plays with real intent and purpose at the football, low down, left side, got a bullet-like kick. Sometimes his kick does miss its target, but more times than not, he can run and carry, and there's real penetration in the kick.
Yeah, I just loved his game. And look, everyone from Adelaide had a good game tonight. They just did. They did their job, and their game plan, they executed what I'm sure was what the game plan coming out of the bye about what they wanted to do, and they executed it to a T. And look, they just beat a pretty good team. The Giants are you look at their team and Adelaide's team. The Giants should be doing a lot better than what they're doing. We know that, but they beat a pretty good team tonight, and not just beat them. They made them look second rate for a large majority of the night.
I picked the Giants too tonight.
Just with the side about to go down, they just held up a little while. most of the players took the footballs as they do to the youngsters and that. You mentioned Ben Key's work rate. He went right down to the other end of the ground and then came back around. So he saw everybody in the ground.
Yeah, no, he's aerobically very, very good in the midfield, but plays such a key role across that half forward in the defensive role.
Adelaide winners by 16 points. Let's head into the rooms with Liz Walsh.
Thanks, Aaron. That's right. I'm here in a packed and very happy Adelaide rooms down here where CEO Tim Silvers, where Adam Kelly, they've all come in at the same time. They're all clapping the crowd. Everyone's really thrilled. Now, all the players have just run up. Oh, they're all grabbing their energy drinks. Obviously, Billy Dowling, Zach Taylor, here they go. They're going to be celebrating their first win as Crows players. That's already starting. And here we go. I tell you what, Josh Rochelle, he does look like Taylor Walker with that haircut, doesn't he?
If you get any close, at least you're going to get covered here.
I know. I'm actually very close to being covered here. And here we go. Let's listen into them singing the song.
Stronger, faster, and respected by our folks. We're admiration of the nation, and determination shows. We're part of South Australia, with the mighty Adelaide Crows.
There you go, very happy Adelaide rooms. And a very interesting development tonight that it hasn't just been energy drinks that have been thrown over these players, it's been chocolate milk as well. Isn't that interesting?
Oh,
hit the showers immediately.
Yeah, boots and all, just get in the shower.
What a relief that would be for the Crows, Jammo. You know better than anyone as someone so passionately devoted to the club and someone inside the four walls. And I guess the ruthless nature of the South Australian bubble, that the pressure was on. You know, the season and their finals campaign is over, and there were questions coming of, you know, did people need to lose their jobs? It was quite intrinsic, the analysis of the footy club, and they've bounced back after a couple of weeks off and finished with a 16-point victory.
Yeah, some of it uneducated too, by the way. Like, and don't know the detail, and that's the thing about. I think Matty Nix, we really proud of the group and the way in which they've played. That's the way we want to play. That's the way that they set out to achieve and what they wanted to play right at the start of the year. And they're just going to have to go game by game now. Tactically, they'll make some changes. They'll, you know, manoeuvre their way through and play people in different roles. You know, we saw Lockie Scholl play predominantly on the wing, Billy Dowling predominantly on the wing. Zach Taylor gets a role. Looks like they're going to try him in the midfield, but with a tag or run with roll, and he might learn the craft that way. Riley O'Brien, he improved tonight. I thought Darcy Fogarty kept presenting. Lockie Murphy, I thought, you know, has worked really hard. There's a couple of areas in the back half that got over the back, but I thought Mark Keane was really good. There's been times where you just go, gee, really? But he backs himself in more time to mark than he does to punch. And, you know, you've got to adjust to the occasions. It's a bit wet, a bit slippery, and I thought they were able to do that. And their intent right from the outset wasn't. It was straight on, get it forward, get it off the ground, get it down the line. And both sides pretty much tried to do that in the first half, but Adelaide were supreme, particularly in that second quarter.
Well, when that's the Adelaide we saw last year, right? And again, looking at the players and the stats, their forwards kicked goals tonight, and they had really good looks at it because the way they put speed on the ball when they made the Giants turn the ball over. And I'm a big believer in the modern game, your turnover game. You can get the opposition to turn the ball over with your pressure and intensity. Then when you get the ball, you go as quickly and as fast as you can go. You're going to get your forwards the best looks that they can get, and you give yourself every chance to win a football game. Now, where's it been all year? That's what we're all going to we're going to talk about for the next 45 minutes, isn't it?
Let's find out. Let's head into the Adelaide Crows rooms. Winners by 16 points over the Giants tonight. Liz Walsh down there.
Hello, Aaron. Thank you. I am here with Sam Berry. Sam, what a way to snap a 3-game losing streak. It must feel really good. Talk us through that game.
Yeah, it does. It does feel very good. We probably had a couple of weeks to reflect, having the bye, coming off that Sydney game, and yeah, we're pretty driven to get that win after after probably not playing the way we wanted to play. So it was kind of back to our DNA in that front half footy. So yeah, it was really enjoyable.
How did you find that last quarter? The Giants came for you, didn't they?
They did. They're a very good team. So we knew they were going to come. But yeah, it was just really good, especially with such a young team in today. It was just great to see how everyone held up and played our structure and held on. So it was great.
That's very true, actually. There's been a lot of talk from fans about wanting to play the kids. You'd probably be one of them. But tonight, seeing Zach Taylor make his debut, Billy Dowling kicked his first goal for the club. It's really nice to see that new generation coming through. Yeah, it is. These boys have, especially Billy and Zach, have played a lot of sample footy in the last few years, and it's great to see them get reward. It shows they're ready and they've been patient, and couldn't be happier for them. It's fantastic. Let's head up to our experts. We've got Rod Jamieson and Dean Brogan.
Yeah, Sam, Rod Jamieson, well done. It was like everyone had their moments or played their quarters. There was really quite a consistent 4-quarter effort.
Yeah, no, it was good. They come at us a little bit there, especially the end of the first quarter. They kicked 4 straight after we probably had the dominance there for a while, and we had patches where they come, but it was just great to see how we held up and kept that scoreboard pressure going.
Well, the first possession too, I think Adelaide's been good at times with that, but first possession and clearance work as well. Big focus on our contest coming into this game. So, they're as good as a midfield gets, in my opinion. So it was great to see how we held up, and especially that clearance and first possession and just that overall contest. I thought we were pretty solid. Well, you certainly contributed that. I love the way you go about your craft too. We've got to talk about Isaac Rankin. First half, he just lit it up, 21, and was just involved in everything.
He is an absolute star, isn't he? Even I get a bit mesmerised out there at times.
Hey, Seb, Dean Brogan here, mate. Congratulations, mate. Unbelievable game by you and the team. Talk to us a bit about the game plan, because we were blown away by how quick you played. Like every chance you got, you went quick and you got the ball inside 50 quick. Is that something that you've worked on this week coming out of the bye, that you need to play a lot quicker?
Yeah, it was definitely talked about. Just at times there, when we're in that middle of the ground, just to back our forwards in. I think that was a big focus tonight. And I mean, with Fogg, Tex, Elliott, I think that tall timber, they smashed it. And I think going to them and knowing that they'll at least bring it to ground and get the boys like Rash and Ranks involved. I think we're pretty potent when we do that. So just getting back to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now about your own game, mate. Like, you've been in and out of the side a little bit. You've been to sub a few times. Tonight you get a really good look at playing on ball. Is that something that you want to obviously show the footy club, show the coaches over the next month, that you can play on ball and you want that spot, and that you're looking for more opportunities in there? Yeah, definitely. I mean, that sub role can be tough at times to kind of prove yourself, I guess, to keep your spot in the team and whatnot. But it was nice tonight to get an opportunity in there, and I thought as a midfield group we're pretty solid. So it was good, really enjoyable.
Sam Berry's with us on ABC Sport after Adelaide's 16-point victory. Sam, it's Aaron Bryans here. Just on that, your full-time positioning in the midfield and actually being able to showcase what you can do. There were reports through the week that you've put your contract talks on hold. You just want to focus on getting to your best football and injecting yourself into this midfield mix. Was there any truth to that, and can you take us into your mindset behind the decision?
Yeah, I mean, I just think, we're still in the chunk of footy, and I'm just really trying to focus on getting back to my best and playing the best footy I can possibly play. So that's really been the forefront of my mind surrounding that contract stuff.
So what was the setback then? It felt like in 2022 you were almost the next big thing. You had this amazing breakout season and found yourself in the twos for a large majority of last year, had a couple of injuries around that, and as Dean just touched on, getting stuck in the sub role a fair bit this campaign. You get the shackles off tonight and you show everyone, the class that you can provide.
Yeah. Obviously last year was a pretty frustrating year, and kind of just probably nothing really physical that stopped me, but probably just a few mental speed bumps that I've hit. So just still working my way through that, and just trying to get back to my best footy and stay confident, I guess.
So how does the club support you then when you're going through those confidence issues to be able to build you back up?
We've got a lot of great people in this area. Rory Sloane's one who continues to help me every week, and we've got Nathan Van Burle, my midfield coach as well. I think they're guys that have gone through it and know how footy works. So just keeping to work with them, and I think a lot of it as well is just like during the week is training and just every opportunity I can to grow that confidence and find my best footy is there. So just keep trying to do that.
Sam, it's Neil Cross here. Just a quick reflection on the game. I just noticed at three-quarter time, normally the coaches will go through things, you'll break up, all that sort of stuff, and you'll hear from Matthew Nicks. It appeared like Jordan Dawson took over the group. How much was said by Nixie at three-quarter time versus Jordan Dawson stressing some things just before you went out?
Yeah, I think Nixie did a bit, but I mean, he's big on us problem solving. I think that's something we've done a lot of work on, and Dawes he's like another coach out there as well, the way he leads. So I think, kind of coming in, I think we know what we needed to do, just a matter of executing it.
And mate, if I can too, next week you probably head to Brisbane. You take on maybe one of the toughest teams in their environment, and you're going to notch up 50 games yourself and Joshua Shelley.
Yeah, well,
come quickly.
It has. Nice to share that with Rash. But yeah, it's going to be a tough game. But I mean, we love a challenge, and I think tonight was a great challenge, and I think that's we got a little bit of confidence from tonight as well. So pretty exciting, I think, going up there next Sunday.
Sam, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you very much. Cheers, guys.
Great to have Sam Berry from the Adelaide Crows. Winners by 16 points tonight, knocking off the Giants 13-16, 94 to 12-6, 78. And the confidence issues, they've been pretty open about those, Jamo, that 2022 he did have that breakout campaign, and it took a couple of games where he was a little bit off and sent him on a bit of a spiral. They put him back in the twos to try and rebuild him, and back to his best tonight after a couple of years. That hopefully we can see a little bit more of him in that midfield mix.
Well, I think it's always hard in probably your second year, maybe the early part of your third year. Like you get in the first and you just get involved and you get wrapped up in it, you play in the opportunity, and then when you've got to do another pre-season and work to a role, the league and the opposition start to work you out and put you in areas where you don't want to be or under more pressure, and he's no different to that. You've seen Riley Thilthorpe go backwards and forwards, Riley O'Brien. So there's plenty of players that actually go through it, and it's just such a tough role in there because he's such a bullion player, and he is a ball winner for Adelaide, and they want him to do that.
Well, your first 50 games, unless you're an absolute superstar, your first 50 games are a little bit. You play well. You're not on the side. You're finding some consistency. Your first 50, you're feeling all about it. The AFL, what's it all about? And your first 50 games, it comes really quick, like you just said then, Jamo. And he's been through a little bit of a roller coaster. He came out of the blocks a couple of years ago, and now he's hit that 50 game mark where now his career should really take off. So, it like he said then, it helps when you get a crack at the midfield. It can't be easy being sub. In and out, you sub, you haven't played well, you're back to the twos, you come in as a sub. As a player, you want continuity, and especially if you want to have aspirations to play in the midfield, you want, at least a good month at your craft in the midfield, right? And your first 50 games, you're finding out about everything about yourself. And now is the time where you go, well, all right, I'm a bona fide AFL player now. I'm ready to go. And you know what it's about. You get some tricks up your sleeve. The coaches have a bit more faith in you. So hopefully tonight and over the next, whatever weeks there is, with Berry in the midfield, there's no reason why he shouldn't play there every week. But he'll get a good month at it now, and the coaching staff will go, well, maybe he is the future for us in there with the mix of Rankin and Dawson and some players of that calibre. So he put his best foot forward tonight. He had 21, but the more games he plays in there, that's going to creep up to 30. So he was fantastic tonight. I thought he was really good. 13 contested possessions, 12 ground ball gets, like that. That's work rate. Those two things are absolute work rate, and that's what you need from your not your star midfielder, but your grunt midfielder.
I think most players are instinctive players, aren't they? And they just want to get at the footy. And we've spoke throughout the night, when there's someone in the midfield like that, you've got to at times just sit and wait or defend or hold off and do that. And if you're continually going at it, and then if you are sub for a long period of time, you actually just want to go back and play some football to improve in those areas that you're doing it. So it does take time at this level, and that's why it is difficult to continue to be as consistent. You look on the other side where Tom Green and Paddy Cripps. These blokes have played 100, 150 games of football, and you'll get there.
Thoughts of Premiership stars Rod Jamieson, Dean Brogan, with you for the next 30 minutes as we wrap up Adelaide's 16-point victory over the Giants. If you want to get in touch, the text line 0437 774 774. So the win moves Adelaide out of the bottom four, at least temporarily. The Saints could jump them again if they get a victory over the Power tomorrow. For the Giants, a missed opportunity, a chance to be just outside the top four, and now they're out of the eight in what is a very big chasing pack. Let's get some reaction from their rooms. Liz Walsh downstairs.
Thanks, Aaron. I'm here with Lockie Whitfield. Lockie, Adam Kingsley said it was going to be a test coming in, and it ended up being so. How did you see that game play out?
Yeah, it was. It's quite disappointing, to be honest. We came here, what finished as a pretty good game against the Swans in that last quarter, so I thought we were going to have a bit of momentum out of that. But yeah, we just didn't turn up. Our work rate to get contest to contest was no good. Our hunt at the ball, I think we were down 22 at ground ball, so it's really disappointing. They played really well though. They got contest to contest really well. They were tough. They're fast. Just a tough game.
You had 41 touches yourself. How did you personally see your game tonight?
I thought I kicked pretty poorly. I try to get around the ground as best I can, but when the ball's in your defensive bit, it's probably a bit easy to get a bit of it. So, they just beat us in most of the main stuff. The contest is what we're really lacking at the moment. We've got the cattle for it. We're just not really turning up, and that's disappointing.
Where do you think it sort of sits your season? It was an important game tonight.
Yeah, well, it's a fork in the road for us. We really need to get going. Obviously, you just said we're knocked out of the 8 at the moment. We had an opportunity to get the 4th or whatever. So we're just having these big momentum, second quarters where, the Swans kicked 7 on us, and, the Crows did the same again today, seven goals in a row. So we need to sort that out. We're still very hopeful for what we can achieve this year. We know, when we do play our good footy, it matches up with the rest, but we just need to find that.
Let's head up to our experts. We've got Rod Jamieson and Dean Brogan.
Hey, Winners, Brogues here, mate. Tough night at the office for you blokes. You mentioned you're surprised that they were fast. From the commentary, Adelaide just played on at all costs tonight, and they looked fast. Did it catch us on the back foot a little bit?
Yeah, it did, mate. We knew they were going to lengthen hard. They've got good small forwards that get, try and build a lot of space between the ball and their full forward line. So gives them good opportunity when they do play fast to get into low number contests, and they were able to do that pretty easy today. Their kick mark game was good, and as soon as they got a bit of pace on the ball, we were scrambling. So, Nixie's obviously got a good game plan there, and it worked today.
So, mate, you spoke about the contest stuff. It's been letting you down for a number of weeks now, and is that the difference between this year and last year? I know you don't want to reflect too much on the past, but this time last year you really got your game started going. You really got your game going, and you were almost unbeatable towards the back end of the year. Just from up here, mate, looking at it, it just looks like you're a bit off in everything. Is it contest, mate, that you need to go back to work this week and go, righto, we're just going to hang our hat on contest for the next week or so until we can start to get some other peripherals of our game going?
Yeah, definitely contest. I think that there's a broad number of things that we need to improve on. I think our skill base at the moment is pretty bad. I think what we were able to do last year is play a bit of momentum footy, and when we got the ball out the back, we were kicking the ball well to our forwards, and I know we only scored not that much for our inside 50s today, so our ball going inside 50 has been pretty average as well. Obviously the contest is down. Work rate contest to contest, which is exemplified in their ground ball numbers against us today. So, the hunt and desire is still there. We're going into training every day thinking, we're still in this, and we've still got a lot to give this year. It's just not translating yet, and I'm pretty confident we'll be able to get there. We just need to, keep hanging in there.
Lockie, Rod Jamieson, I love what you're trying to say in terms of your tent. You still owe it 70% going inside. Or your kicking efficiency around the ground. I thought your handballing was clean though as well too, just around the congested area, albeit you might not have won those metrics, but it's still clean.
Yeah, well, it's hard to reflect, mate. I'm probably not good at, when you walk off the field knowing what we did well and what we did wrong. That's what Mondays are for, but Yeah, I think when we can get the ball in chain, especially when we get a bit of pace off our half-back, we look dangerous, and that's usually through handball. But it's just a bit stop-start at times, and when we're chasing the game, it's there. Like you saw in that last quarter, we looked good at times. I at least felt good. We just got to get more of that. We've got to play with the handbrake off a bit earlier in games.
Kieran Briggs gives you a good start, though.
Yeah, he's obviously a big fella and throws his weight around. He's good in the clearance. We'll probably just need a bit more backup for him.
Hey, Lockie, Aaron Bryant's here. You sound really flat, and obviously it's a frustrating loss in a season that hasn't played out the way you wanted. But can you tell us a bit about your personal emotions and, I guess, the senior leaders who've been on this run for the last 5-6 years and just falling a little short of expectations?
Yeah, well, for personal, it is disappointing the way it's panning out. Like, I had really high hopes coming off what happened at the end of last year. It was a good pre-season. We started the year really well, and then we've just hit this wall. So, we expected to be doing better. We want to be doing better. We're trying to do better, and it's just not clicking at the minute. But, there's plenty of season left for us to get that right.
We had a chat during the last couple of quarters about the list profile as well, that yourself, Stephen Cornelio, Toby Green are kind of 29, 30. You've got these players who've been together for a while and have great chemistry, and then some young stars coming through. So Max Krzyzewski, didn't get to see a lot of him tonight, but looked great on debut. McMullen, Harvey Thomas, Lekalia. There's this influx of talent that now you're kind of guiding as the future of the football club.
Yeah, absolutely. I love playing alongside Lockie Ash in the back line. He's just turned 23, so he's got a lot of footy ahead of him. McMullen looks great every time he comes on the ground. He's been subbed quite a bit, but he uses his legs and looks really dangerous when he gets the ball. And Harvey Thomas is doing great. A lot of the boys are working hard in the twos as well. I don't know. We've got that core group of about 5 or 6 of us that are tracking around 30, and we feel like we've still got a good 4 or 5 years left in us. And we've obviously got the good young mids as well with Finn and Tom. We know we've got a good number of years of building good footy, but we want to achieve good stuff now. So we're not up to the standard that we want to be, and that's disappointing.
Lockie, how's Sam Taylor going, mate? Firstly, how's his injury, and when is he expected back anytime soon? That you know? Yeah,
he's back at the club during the week. Obviously a weird injury. He's pretty good at getting those ones. But it's one of those injuries that you're just not going to rush back. I think best case scenario is maybe another 4 to 6 weeks, but it's just a wait and see. It's pretty dangerous sort of stuff when you're dealing with that. And he's obviously quite heavily missed. He's an important player for us, so hopefully get him back ASAP.
And Cornelio's all right. He looked a little bit sore towards the end of the game tonight. He got through. It was good to see him back out there, but it looked like he needed the run along with Isaac Cumming as well. So having those two back, hopefully that they get the run under their legs and they look better over the next couple of weeks. All good there?
Yeah, all good. We got Perriman back as well, so having those 3 boys back in is great for us. Brings good leadership, a lot of games played. Cogs has come off a pretty sore shoulder, so he's just getting used to getting knocks again. So Buddy's all right. Couple of stingers late in the game for him, but nothing serious. And just K's in the legs for the boys. They'll be better for it.
Lockie, thanks for fronting up, and best of luck against Carlton next week. Hopefully you can bounce back.
Thanks, guys. Good to talk.
Great to have Lockie Whitfield. He had an incredible game tonight. 41 touches in the Giants' loss to Adelaide by 16 points. So 5 of them contested. A couple of ground ball gets amongst it. 5 inside 50s, 3 score involvements. So might find his way into the votes. We'll have a chat later across the half hour. Aaron Bryans, Neil Cross, Rod Jamieson, Dean Brogan with you, wrapping up Adelaide's victory, their 5th of the campaign, and the Giants' 7th loss. Over at the MCG as well, Geelong managed to roll Essendon. It looked like the Bombers were in control for the majority of the contest, and then the Cats kicked 10 of the last 12 goals, won by 45 points, 16-9-105 to Essendon's 9-6-60. Tyson Stengel had 3. Tom Stewart back to his best. He had 23 touches. Jack Bowes, 26 and a goal as well. So plenty of action across the day. The Dogs defeated the Roos by 17. The Dockers just got over the Swans by a point. Logan McDonald missing a match winner. And the Suns beat Collingwood in a thrilling game by 11 points at Carraro. Plenty of footy to come that we'll touch on in a moment's time. A couple of texts running through, though. 0437 774 774. DJ says, hi, team. Good call tonight. Good win for the Thunderbirds and the Crows making South Australia proud. I love how Hinge takes on the game, but Elliot Himmelberg's kick for goal is awful and he needs a lot of work to do. So, yes, congrats to the Thunderbirds. They beat the Vixens top of the table. So, a couple of rounds to go. They're looking likely to finish in the top two and obviously have the home grand final, so fingers crossed they can get there with the fever down their necks. And yeah, Hinge, great game. Elliot Himmelberg's a funny one, Brogues. I got you to do a list that we won't go all the way through a couple of weeks ago on SA Grandstand of the out-of-contract Crows and who you thought should stay and who should go, and Berry and Himmelberg were on that list, as was your Zach Taylors, and all of them had a chance to play tonight. Did Elliot do much to impress you to say he should stay?
Oh, look, you should never trade or not sign tall forwards because they're hard to find. And he is a little bit versatile. You can put him in the ruck and even down back. But I thought he was a liability when he came into the ruck. We called it a couple of times on the commentary and probably didn't do enough for me. And I don't think he fits into their best 22. And I think maybe a fresh start somewhere where teams look at the good stuff that he can do. He's probably a bit pigeonholed now. He's been at Adelaide for a long time, and Tilthorpe's back today, so the minute he gets going.
So he had 3, Burgess 4, and Gallant 3 as well in the Sandford.
Yeah, so you would think that they'll make some changes there, and he'll be the one that probably steps out. So I think for his own career, he probably needs to move on. But he's been a solid citizen for the Crows, in and out, and fills a hole when they need it. But maybe that's just all he is on a list. But potentially he needs to go somewhere and see what else he can do.
What about Sam Berry?
I think you potentially keep him. Yeah, you definitely keep him. Yeah,
absolutely keep him. Well,
he's a young kid. How old is he, Gemma?
Well, he's 23, 24.
Yeah, no,
22.
You try and sign him.
Well, because you talk about you need a big bull in the middle, and he's it. Like, you take him out, and Adelaide don't have a player such as maybe a Crouch.
There's a guy called Berry in Brisbane too. I can't help but continue to look at both of them and think, well, he's got potential to be just like Jared Berry.
And you just nailed it. Like, Crouch isn't getting any younger. They need someone that does the dirty work for Rankin, Dawson, and when Rochelle starts coming through there, and they need someone with the grunt that's going to hold the fort and do all the stuff that the very talented, not saying he's not talented, but you know what I mean.
Well, Rory Laird's 31 later this year. Yeah. So whether he stays in the middle or whether he starts to either go back or go forward in the next year.
Oh, I think Berry, judging on what we saw tonight and what we have seen in the past, albeit he went early on in his career, probably the last 12 months, but there's factors for that. Now he gets a good run at it. I reckon you sign him up. Well, they're trying to sign him, but he's put the contract talks off, which is pretty smart by him and his management team. But I think his place is here in Adelaide, and just judging by what we saw tonight, I think they're going to need him.
I think Luke Pedler's the other one too. He's a tough player, Southeast. He played today. I think he might have hurt his groin. I saw him come off a little bit maybe in the third quarter, but it's not dissimilar to I guess what Sam was saying. The mental side of the game is really difficult, and Ped's actually I think he kicked 6 behinds before he even kicked his first goal, and sometimes he doesn't pick the right option, and he will find his place in the game, and I think they can persevere with him. Again, he's a midfielder, bullish at it, not dissimilar to Barry, but he's that left footer as well too. Which changes the game in the middle. At the the left footers always just seem to find a way to get out of it. So he might not get every game, but he needs to be, I think, kept on the list.
He adds depth to your list.
Totally.
And these guys that are fringe midfield, you've got to find other ways to get into the team. So when you go back to the SNFL and you play maybe a bit more half forward, or when you come into the AFL, so you can't be just a midfielder now. You've got to add more street, unless you're a Tom Green from the Giants.
Is that what's hurting a Harry Schomburg, who comes to senior level and gets thrown in a forward pocket and just can't adapt?
100%. So you've got to look at, when you go back to the twos, you can't play in the spot that you want to play in. Like, you potentially got to go, well, when I come up to the ones, I'm going to be playing half forward, and you've got to embrace that. And and when you get your chance to, you go down to half forward, you've got to dominate it. So when you come into the ones, you might get a little snippet of the midfield, but you're going to play. So if you're a player, you'd be banging on the coach's door going, what positions do I need to play to improve so you pick me in the ones? Because you're not going to get picked as a starting midfielder for these players that are on the fringe. You will maybe eventually, like Berry's getting his chance now, but you've got to learn other positions to play, because when you get the selection table, you've been a coach, Jamo, you pick the player that's more versatile. So if there's a line ball decision, you go, well, I've seen him play forward, I know what he can do. You can actually flip him onto a wing. So these players that are on the fringe, start adding more pieces to your game, so when you get to the selection, you get the nod.
We had Jack Humph on SA Grandstand a few weeks ago and asked him about Billy Dowling debuting as a winger. And he basically said, everybody wants to play inside mid and you have to show us more than that. And he copped so much online for it when I chucked the audio up. But that's, I guess, the process of becoming a star, isn't it? You've got to jump through a few hurdles and
there's rotations. You form part of the rotation, and you don't see too many people stay in the midfield, or they'll come to the midfield, either go half back or go to the wing or high half forward or half forward. So you've either got 2 or 3 different roles you need to play, and you might be better in one, and you might have a couple of games in a decent role, but you just want the high intensity in and around the football. And then even then, you might have your high forward coming up, or you might have your high forward going out behind the footy. So there's multiple roles that they have to play.
Another text from Matt, 0437 774 774, asking for the crowd figure. We didn't get one, Matt, and
I got one.
You've got one.
29,800.
Where'd you find that one from?
Yeah, right in front of you.
Oh, it's on the Champion data screen. So they didn't put it on the big screen, and that would be why. 29,000 is the lowest score we've had since the COVID years.
Yeah, well, I think it's
the lowest crowd.
It was it was 8 degrees tonight. It poured with rain up until lunchtime. Saturday night is not always, and to be fair, Adelaide aren't going that well. The Giants don't pull the biggest crowd, so there's probably multiple factors.
So give that one again for Matt.
Yep, 29,802.
There you go.
Always got you covered.
it is a little bit of a low number.
But probably make it a little bit smoother, but we've got you covered.
As we said, we've been working our way, improving through the bye, getting better. We've got to focus on the Giants a bit more. Obviously, Adelaide's finals campaigns are over, but great that they've got a win tonight. The Giants, meanwhile, stuck in that growing pack of contenders outside of Sydney, and they've fallen short again tonight against a team they probably should have beaten. And if you're looking at the teams around the mark to fit into the 8, it's getting harder and harder to make a case for them.
Well, it is, and you would think, listening to Lockie Whitfield, that he seemed
pessimistic, wasn't he?
Yeah, he wasn't that selling a very good message. I didn't think. Like, he's just come off a bad loss, so you got to give him forgive him for that. But they're really struggling. Like, I think you pulled out a stat, Aaron. They've lost 3 of their last 10 games. They've only won 3 games. Like that. That's a pretty damning. That they are in a world of pain.
They're hanging on from a hot start where they beat Collingwood, who had the slow start to the campaign anyway, so you can excuse that one. North Melbourne, West Coast, Gold Coast, and St Kilda. So really, those first 5 games don't mean a lot.
They're in a.
Well, they do, because you got to bank them. You have to bank them.
Well, it's the only thing that's keeping them alive at the moment is games that they played, 3 months ago. So. Right now, they are in serious danger of missing out on the 8, because you've got the Gold Coast they don't lose at home, so they're going to win more games, and that they're playing better than probably what the Giants are. The Western Bulldogs they're on their way. Brisbane Lions are on their way, and Geelong won tonight. Like, they're in danger. They're in danger of not making the 8, and I don't know what their run home is like.
It's bad.
The concern.
They've got Carlton next week.
5 to 12 are on 8 wins right now. And there's still a couple of games to play out in that, but 5 to 12 is on 8 wins.
Their players aren't playing that well. They're okay. Like, you look at their numbers, Kelly 24, Ward 24. They're like, Canelio's been injured, 19. Toby Green, his numbers looked okay tonight, but we all know he wasn't the Toby that he has set a lofty standard over his last 5-6 years. He's been the best player, All-Australian captain, best player in the comp. He is not at that level. In fact, he's nowhere near it, to be honest. Let's be honest, he's nowhere near it. So you throw him not playing in good form. Hogan's been down over the last few weeks. Bedford's nowhere. He's playing run-with roles now. Daniels is nowhere. Bedford and Daniels were two of the best half-forwards in the competition last year. They haven't been to the level. So there's such a big part of their game style, Bedford and Daniels and their high half-forwards. Callahan's been in and out of the side. He's a great player, but again, he's only had 23 possessions, going at 58%. So they're movers and shakers that got them to a prelim last year aren't at the level this year.
The thing is, though, coming into this round, they're 8 wins, 6 losses. They were 6th coming into the round. Last year, they were 6 wins and 8 losses, and 14th coming into this round.
As was Carlton.
And so because they finished really well, we marked them up or whatever. They conceded 10 consecutive goals to Sydney last week. It's the first time since the 2019 grand final.
It's just got a different vibe about it this year compared to last year. And look, Lockie's right that there's plenty of time to go. And we talk about this with Port Adelaide. We talk about this with Gold Coast, with Geelong. There is still time for these teams that we think should be doing better that aren't. They're only probably 2 back-to-back wins away from getting onto a roll, but just something about the Giants I'm just not liking at the moment. And they've had a lot of injuries this year too, just some key, like Taylor, the best centre-half back in the game's out, not playing. You can't underestimate that.
It almost sounds like you're talking about Adelaide too.
Well, I was just going to say, now, is it out of the question? I know statistically, mathematically, you look at it and you say, but the fact is, with that group of sides that are just above Adelaide at the moment, with everybody beating everybody and not able to find their form, 12 wins might sneak in, 12 and a half wins.
Absolutely.
It might be the year where that actually happens because the gap's getting bigger from 6 down to 10, like the 7th and 8th.
Yep.
You might 12 wins in good percentage might get you in.
Or 12